มามามามามามามามามามามามามามา
That was wicked. That was cool.
I'm just picturing you like literally like with your mouth close up to the mic, just doing that, man. Like imagine just like your wife just walked in and just saw you doing that shit. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Do you know what makes it worse? I did that at work.
Oh Lord!
I'll sit right at the front desk, so I was doing that at work, so I had to wait till like no one was around. Otherwise, they would have thought I was a complete lunatic. You know,
That's quality.
It's funny because I wanted to do something funny with it, and I thought, well, I can't use the proper music because you know that they go mad with copyright or something. So, yeah, so I did that.
That was stop it, don't. Quality.
Do you know what? I'm looking here. There's comments already from 5 o'clock today. Like Clay Graphics has left a few comments.
Clay, you have to read them out when we get going proper, bruv.
I'm just going to bring one up quick now. It's saturated cinemas for so long now, definitely been overdone. How long can we keep seeing the same story? Good person dealing with adversity to overcome an evil threat. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. Okay. So let's, like you say, let's get things started. So been wanting to do this stream for ages. Things get coming up. So it's been put on the back burner. And I thought, like, we got, what are you laughing at?
I've just seen Hobby Lodge's nice intro. Just, meh. I can't get sorry. I'm sorry.
Should we play again? Just
yeah,
for
play
Hobby
again,
Lodge?
please.
Let's play again.
I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, so as I was saying, I've been wanting to do this for ages. So I've been looking at all this stuff, and it's very relevant right now because there's definitely a shift happening in cinema right now. And you know, numbers don't lie at the end of the day. So that's why I wanted to do this stream. Obviously, I asked Lee, and Lee straight away said, "Oh, have you asked Rob?" And I thought, "Oh, yeah, perfect," because I know you're into your cinema and stuff like this,
Rob.
Yeah. So here we are. Now, what I am going to do is go through the hellos and all that. We already saw one of Clay Graphics' comments, so say hello to him. Hobby Lodge. Alex Ustar.
Alex.
8-Bit Rach.
Oh, hello, Rach.
Yeah, that's me mate Jamie. He's here. Do you know what? He's been with me right from the start. When I first started out, he's still watching my stuff. There's Billy. Nice intro, yeah. Now I see what you're on about. What's this? Hi everyone, glad to see you're still doing productive things at work, Lee, like in your last. Yeah. Well, this is it. You know, sometimes when it's quiet and you get bored, you've got to entertain yourself.
Yeah,
and there's Tetley.
What?
He's actually put that in the comments as well. There's Paul, and then and what?
He didn't comment back the other day.
Very drunk.
Well, that's very. When I did
that
I did that long voice note, and I was hoping for a comeback, but I don't know if he got upset and he was beating up a doll of me or something because he didn't message me back say anything about it. But bless him. What?
Yeah, the other funny thing is, I really need a skit of that old guy because I ain't got one of him. I have got one of another person that used to work with him.
That bloke's a nutter.
I love that. I love Harry Enfield. When you think about them, they were great and the Far Show obviously was great.
Yeah,
I binged it. I binged that Harry Enfield show not that long ago. Actually, it was on I think it was on Netflix. I just went through the whole thing again, man. It still makes me laugh, man.
Can't beat the classics.
No.
Right. Okay. Let's get into the meat of this show then. Right. So as it's titled, are we seeing the end of the superhero movie genre? I think we are. Numbers don't lie. You know, it's all there, plain enough to see. And I also think we're possibly not only seeing the death of the superhero movie genre, and I don't mean completely, I mean as in being the most dominant thing on the cinema, but I think we're also seeing a resurgence of action movies. Don't know about you guys. I'll be happy to see that if I'm honest. You know, I liked them up to a certain point, but these latest ones, absolute junk. Lee, what do you think?
Well, the last couple of Marvel ones I've seen, like the Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, I was like watching Star Wars. I actually thought it was a Star Wars movie. If you've not seen it, it's so many aliens in it, and it comes out of nowhere, because if you haven't seen Ant-Man and Wasp, the second film, or it is actually called Ant-Man and Wasp, isn't it? When they go into the quantum realm and they pick up Michelle Pfeiffer, there's no other beings. It's just these like worm monster things. And now in this film, there's like it's like Star Wars. It's really strange, and I did not like it. But you have to watch it because obviously they're all connected, via phase. And then obviously, and Robert backed me on this one. I just watched Extraction 2.
So have I. I've seen both of them. They're good films.
Now, Chris Hemsworth has really come up. He's really gone up in stock for me, especially with those two films. They were really, really good. I really enjoyed them. I like the character.
He started out on Home and Away, didn't he?
Home and Away, or one of them.
Home and Away. Yeah, that's where it started. Yeah.
Although ironically, he starred in in my opinion, one of the worst Marvel films ever. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Probably Love and Thunder.
But I agree.
But what was interesting was that those films are written by the Russo brothers, or involved with the Russo brothers, because it's a story, it's a book. And I tried to buy the book afterwards, and it's like non-obtainable. You can't. It's not even on eBay. The original story of that character, in essence. I mean, it's not exactly the story, but it's an essence of the character. But I think at the minute, superhero movies are a little bit on the down, which I think they kind of. I knew this would happen.
Understatement of the year.
On average, yeah, it was. Have you seen it, Lee?
No, I don't need to. I heard enough, and I'll see enough.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't want to see it.
We had the return of Michael Keaton as Batman, which was the other reason why I watched the Flash movie.
See, now that one, I'm waiting for it to come on to Plex, because I'm not paying to watch that.
But
no way.
Again, Rob's like me, and I know you're like me as well, Lee. Like the DC cartoon movies are way better than the actual movies. And the movie the comic that the movie's based off, Flashpoint Paradox, the actual cartoon is awesome. The comic's awesome. The Flash movie was very mediocre. And then the ending, which they bastardized together. I mean, are we giving spoilers or no?
I haven't seen it, so
all right, I won't then. They
I
changed the ending.
Yeah.
The ending is now a different character.
I know what it is. I know what they've done.
Okay.
Yeah,
they changed it because it was meant to be obviously with Henry Cavill and whatnot.
We'll get onto that. We'll get onto Henry Cavill at some point, because Henry Cavill is definitely very relevant in this conversation. But we'll get to that later.
I think it's on the way down, unfortunately, because I do enjoy the superhero genre. I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Rob, what do you think?
I don't necessarily think that. I mean, you did state that you don't think necessarily that it's the end of comic book movies, but I don't think it's the death knell of comic book movies. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think all it really has become is that people are now seeing a lot of the flaws of the recent movies, and whereas before there was a lot of praise, especially, I mean, we're talking specifically Marvel here. There was a lot of praise and there was a lot of come up, but now there's definitely become a voice of dissent against Marvel, and I wish I could say it was unjust, but as someone like myself who, you know, as far as I was concerned, I was absolutely loving this age of comic book movies and stuff. Like, even I have to admit, when I see some wrongdoing. And while there have been, bad Marvel films in the past, it was not so prevalent in terms of criticism, because the good films outranked the bad films. They were, for every Thor: The Dark World, we got a Captain America Winter Soldier in Civil War. So it wasn't
Absolutely.
so we it was okay that they had maybe one or two mediocre films. But for me, where it all started to go wrong was with the first Captain Marvel film. And I think, which was just before Endgame. But I felt that was probably the first movie, because I actually enjoyed Thor: The Dark World. I don't really like Iron Man 3, but I enjoyed it enough. None of them were really that bad. Most of the previous Marvel films that people would generally say were bad, like Iron Man 2, some people Iron Man 3.
They're all better than the new stuff.
The Incredible Hulk. I actually enjoyed all those films. I didn't mind them that much. But for me, where it all started to go a little bit wrong was Captain Marvel, and then shortly after that, you just started to see more and more. See, I don't necessarily think that, well, with the exception of maybe Thor: Love and Thunder, none of them are really like truly awful. But they are well below the standard of what we're used to. And then when you factor in the TV shows, they're really hit and miss.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame.
I don't want to cut you off, Rob, but I just want to address this comment here. I personally enjoy Captain Marvel. The problem with that film is it's not just what goes on in the film. It's also the antics that went on outside of the film in the press conferences and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's loads of stuff going on.
Well, the thing, if we're going to talk Brie Larson here, because I actually watched the film of hers, another film. I think it might have been called The Room. It was basically about her and her kid, and they're basically locked away in the room for like 5 years or something, and then by this guy, and then she escapes. And she's a very good actress. So I watched this film shortly after Captain Marvel. And I thought she's a very good actress. She's a very talented actress. I don't really mind her in other films. But yeah, I have seen some of the interviews that she's done, which I just don't think she was right for the role of Captain Marvel, because at the end of the day, like, it's not just about appearing in the movie. You have to be someone that can sell the movie. And unfortunately, she comes across as quite
brash.
Yeah, just sort of very, like, not self-entitled, but just sort of like she's not very likable. Like in her interview, she comes across as she plays like the victim and stuff, and that really turned me off her. But like, that wasn't the reason. That I'll be honest with you, that was nothing about that or her, because I sometimes I can separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
And like, no, I just thought the movie itself was just very boring. I did. It was just very mediocre to me. Like, forget Brie Larson for a second, and this has got nothing to do with the fact that it stars a woman. I'm actually a big fan of the character, not necessarily Captain Marvel, but what she used to be when she was known as Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
like that. I was a massive fan of Miss Marvel. I was waiting to see her solo film. When they decided to make her Captain Marvel, my reaction to it was like, oh, okay. But it's still essentially the same character.
Correct.
So I was excited. I was excited for Captain Marvel. I really was. But ultimately, the film itself, because I'm familiar with the some of the history of the character, and just some of the changes they made in the story, I didn't like.
Yeah.
I loved how I thought Samuel Jackson looked amazing. How they de-aged him, he looked amazing.
Oh yeah.
But
that's what they did about his eye. How they explain that? My God.
No, you're jumping ahead. I was about to get to that, but this is what I'm saying. That reveal just ruined it as well, because the way they kind of insinuated something happened, obviously with his eye in Captain America: Winter Soldier. And I was excited. I was excited to find the reveal to that, and I just thought it was all wasted for the expense of a joke, basically.
Anticlimax.
Very.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just seems like, why did you throw that away? It just seemed, I don't know.
Wasted.
But the whole film, yeah, but
'Cause
the
he's
whole
a
film
man.
for me just, yeah. But no, well, look, I'm not trying to because that's like a whole other conversation. But just
It is
talking
relevant though. It is relevant. with
no,
what's
no,
happening.
we're going to touch on that, but like,
Mm.
but I don't. I'm just strictly speaking about this film. The only thing is that I felt that it just very boring and it wasn't very rewatchable.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I just yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I think it lost its way. I mean, a lot of people think Endgame's the best Marvel movie, right? For starters, Infinity War's better because for me, Infinity War's like the Empire Strikes Back of Marvel, right? That's the better film out of the two of them, right?
Can I ask what you're basing better film on? Just I'm not. I'm trying to be nice.
Hang on, let me finish what I'm
asking.
saying, and then
Go on,
I'll
go on,
answer.
go on, go on.
Right. So my point is, I think Infinity War was the better film out of the two. However, I think that the minute Endgame and that storyline was done, that was the minute we saw an immediate nosedive in quality. Like, I tried to give Doctor Strange benefit of the doubt. That was awful. I mean, they did so many missteps. How you can mess up Scarlet Witch like that, I will never know. Like, you know, what did they do to that film? Like, you know, and it just got worse from there on. I mean, Eternals, and I mean, we'll get into the box office figures later, but for me, I think the last good Marvel film was Endgame. And since then, I think they've been absolute dog shit since. And the TV series haven't helped because I think they've just watered it down even further to a point where, you know, I don't want to watch them. I watched Loki episode 1 and I thought, that's it. I'm done with that. I'm not watching any more of that.
Oh,
You know, so
Loki
Yeah.
was all right.
I enjoyed
was alright,
Loki.
man.
boring.
I enjoyed Loki. Agent Carter is still. I really enjoyed Agent Carter. It's a bit weak, but I enjoyed it. 'Cause I enjoyed the character. I thought the character was pretty cool.
I just feel that I just feel like because I skipped a lot of these films like post Endgame. I skipped a lot of these films in the cinema. Like I couldn't be bothered to watch them.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Like-
yeah.
But like I actually liked Wakanda Forever. I thought it was gonna, I thought I was gonna hate it. But I'll say this though, like I liked it as a Black Panther spin-off film. But like it didn't really feel like a Black Panther film to me. It felt like I literally felt like I was watching like a Black Panther spin-off. And
Yeah, I mean,
because
was-
well, yeah, but like I mean, but I have to, but I try to judge the film on its own merits. Like I already knew that. Obviously, I knew Chadwick Boseman obviously wasn't going to be in it. I knew they weren't going to. I knew that his character wasn't coming. I knew all of this before I even watched the film. So
It was obvious what they was going to do. It was obvious.
Well, I mean, look, but like before we chastise it, because I know some people are going to say, oh, you know, this is one of those films that became the MCU and all that. But I will say this though, that
It was
character,
before that,
like,
but yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, but that character for Shuri to become the Black Panther is not something they just made up. Like that's actually in the comics.
No, yeah, she's
So,
in
like,
the comics. Yeah,
No, like, so like I was expecting that, to be perfectly honest with you, and I was okay with it. The only issue I had was that the way they built up Shuri, and I'm guessing, to be perfectly fair to the creators of that film, they weren't planning on making Shuri Black Panther. This is
Of
just
course
something
not.
that came out of necessity because
Yeah,
the
of
way they
course.
built her up in the first film, like she didn't have the physical skills
Yeah,
to become a
No.
superhero.
yeah.
Which is just unfortunate. They weren't planning to make her a Black Panther. That's just something that came later. So they ended up having to do that, and it felt weird because Shuri didn't seem like that type of person. That's just not how they built her up. But because they didn't want to replace the character of T'Challa, they wanted to sort of carry on. I understood why they went that way, and so that
Yeah.
didn't bother me.
It's so
that
that
didn't
he's
really-
got a
yeah.
lasting legacy. He's got a lasting
yeah.
legacy. They didn't
But
recast.
the thing
Yeah.
is, the problem is, okay, this is what I don't understand. There shouldn't be any shit movies or shit TV shows because the basis for each character has already
Is in
been
the
written
comics.
out for them in the comics, right? Now, we'll Wakanda Forever just briefly. I don't care if Shuri was Black Panther, I was happy because she becomes the Tiger one, she White Tiger, or whatever it is anyway in the comics. But I like when I saw Killmonger, because Killmonger becomes Black Panther in one universe. I was like, okay, this would be really, really good now. But they didn't do that. And I was just a bit like, they missed the trick there, because I still think Michael B. Jackson was awesome in Black Panther 1. He was actually originally going to be Black Panther. However, because he can't throw a voice out, he can't change his accent, he can never do an African voice. Hence why
Oh, you mean like originally casting wise?
Yes, he was. He was going to be.
Yeah,
He was going to be. He was going to be T'Challa because he's perfect. Chadwick Boseman. Listen, I'm not dubbing him at all. God rest his soul. He done a great job. But in the comics, Black Panther's 6'4", I think he's, and he's quite a built guy. And that's my problem. I always say, but in the comic, and my wife hates that because that's what I know.
I do that. I do that.
You know?
So I mean, I watched Transformers: Rise of the Beast today, and I was watching it, and I'm like, that ain't what Wheeljack looks like. What the hell have they done to Wheeljack? Like, you know, honestly, I'm the same as you, mate.
It's really disappointing, especially after watching Bumblebee, and you see in the beginning, you see Ironhide, Wheeljack, and you see him G1 style, and I was like, yes, if they do it like this, they're going to make millions. But anyway,
but I'll say this, like, I get what you're saying, and believe me, like, especially with Transformers, man, like, nothing irks me more than looking at those designs for like the Michael Bay Transformers film. They irk me so much,
especially when you know that they've done them only for diversity's sake, because you can clearly see it in that latest film.
I haven't seen Rise of the Beast, so I can't comment on that film. But I've only seen it. I've only seen the films up to Bumblebee, and even then, I've not even seen all the Bay films. Because
all I'm going to say is they've given Wheeljack a South American accent. Like,
listen, don't even
why. Like,
listen. Transformers last night, even though this is a superhero, Hot Rod is French. That says it all. Why is Hot Rod French in last night? Anyway,
the other thing is, the other thing is they made him a Volkswagen van as well. He was a sports car in the G1.
Yeah, well, what
are they doing? But that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil any more for you, Rob.
I just want to go back to Wakanda Forever for just 1 second. Because I want to talk about Namor for a bit. Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Okay, now I'll admit what they did with the character in terms of where he comes from and stuff. It was cool. It was interesting.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
I liked seeing their world and the history. It was fascinating. But at the same time, I get why they didn't want to go with Atlantis, because they were trying to avoid comparisons with Aquaman. I get that, but they should have stuck to their guns. And I think they should. I'm a purist at heart. And while I thought the actor was good in the role, you know, I just couldn't help thinking, why? There was nothing wrong with how. I mean, he had all the basics of Namor, like all the fundamentals were there. They just changed, you know, obviously his background and stuff. But like, it just felt unnecessary. And I'm like, just keep him from Atlantis. Like, you could have kept the same actor, but just keep, you know, kept it, you know. Make it Atlantean, but it is like
Submariner. I mean, the Submariner is such a cool Namor or Submariner, same person. Such a cool character, and he was back in the 30s and 40s. That's when with Captain America and all that, and now he's like in essence a baddie, if you want to. I hate saying baddie. But he was an antagonist, like even in the comics for a time. Like he's not even really a hero. He's more of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like he's not opposed
to people. That's what he's always done. Whoever's right for people, that's what he's always done.
Exactly. So like his character I don't really have a problem with how he was portrayed in the film, like per se, because that's actually in his nature. I mean, and the fact that and I'm glad they didn't kill him off, because like that was a massive mistake. But at the same time, it was cool. It was a cool take on the character, but I just felt it was an unnecessary take on the character. I felt they diversified. I mean, granted, and I know some people may not realize this, but the Submariner isn't actually white. He's not white.
No,
he isn't white. Okay, so before anyone says anything, he's not. He actually says it in the comics as well. So,
Yeah.
like, if anyone wants to, he actually says it in the comics. He's not a white man.
Where's his
like-
little panties?
hang on, can I just jump in here a sec? Because you've kind of touched on something right there, and I just want to say something right from the get-go here. What bugs me the most with these new films, which are rubbish from a storytelling point of view, is that the minute you turn around and you say, I don't like this film, it's rubbish, what you get straight away is they start calling you ists and phobes. And this is my whole problem, right? Now, I do call it the MCU. Now, I've got no issue with female characters at all. But when you are replacing all the male characters, or if you're not doing that, you're just making the male characters look absolutely useless and pathetic next to them, then I've got an issue. You know,
Well,
that's
this
the
isn't
problem
just-
I have.
This isn't just a Marvel issue. This is just
Oh,
like
no,
Hollywood in
it's
general.
Hollywood in general,
And-
absolutely.
And like the thing is that what a lot of people try to explain, but people sometimes just don't want to hear, is that this is not an attack on females or minorities or saying that we don't want diversity.
No.
I mean, look, I'm a South American. You think I don't want to see South American heroes? Of course I do. But
Yeah.
the thing is that I don't like being pandered to. I don't like
Yeah.
being pandered to.
Because
and
you
I
know they
don't-
don't
and I-
mean it.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be reaffirmed in my ethnicity on screen. Like, I'm happy to see a white hero or a black hero or an Asian hero. I don't need to be represented in every movie I watch. I don't need that.
Yeah,
I can just enjoy the film for what it is.
absolutely.
And I think like I am totally up for a kick-ass female superhero. I'm open for it. I'm some of my favorite films star females. But the problem is with the writing of today.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to clarify to people as well, because is that a lot of the writing, what they feel they need to do, and I don't know why they need to do this, but in order to hype up the female central character, they have to belittle all the male figures around her.
That's it.
And like, or they have to deconstruct the male in some way to almost knock them down a few pegs. And it's like, you don't have to do that in order to hype up a strong female character. You know, it's okay for females to have flaws, just like male characters in movies have flaws. It's completely normal. It's human.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these writers today, they get so caught up in trying to build up their diversive character, they don't stop to think, is this character actually a real character?
Or entertaining.
Yeah, like, not even women like to be pandered to. Like, no one likes to really be pandered to. But unfortunately, when anyone likes to open, you know, just come up, show their views on this, and actually make a point. Look, the writing is weak. It's not. We're not saying don't give us diverse stories or female leads. What we're saying is just be better with the writing, create better stories and with better characters, and we will embrace it. We will totally embrace it. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of these people, you know, people out in the media, they only want to hear their own rhetoric. They don't want to listen to other people, and they just want to throw out all these buzzwords, these ists and phobes, and they don't really want to listen to what's being said. This is not. I am, like I say, I'm clarifying it now to even people who are watching this stream. I'm totally open to diversity in movies, and I'm up for it. I'm totally up for it. But all I'm asking is, write better stories.
Yeah, don't do it at the expense of the story. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like just one quick one. They were going to make James Bond's next movie be a woman. Yeah. Okay. There was loads of talk about that. Okay.
Well, they kind of did that already in the last
With
one.
the other, yeah. But my argument is, leave James Bond alone. Make your own.
Yeah, different character, your own character.
Your own character. Why have you got to use?
They have though. They have though, and they all flopped. They have. They all flopped.
Now,
remember that movie that Charlize Theron did? Like a female action film. I can't remember what it was called.
Blonde.
Yeah, And also, didn't what was her
Do you
name?
remember Long Kiss Goodnight was another one years ago? Do you remember Long Kiss Goodnight?
Yeah, I've not seen that film yet.
Colombiana with
film.
Zoe
Yeah,
Saldana.
with Zoe Saldana. Yeah,
That was good.
Yeah.
There's also one on Netflix, and I can't remember what it's bloody called now. It's got, if you've seen Scott Pilgrim, it's the girl in it who he's going out with.
Oh yeah. I've not seen it, but I know what you're talking about. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. What's her name?
That's right.
Something
Is it
like
called,
that.
Is it called Kerry or is it called Anne? It's Kate, and it's called Kate. It's called Kate. That's what it's called. And I haven't watched that yet. That looks very good, and not because it's a woman, because it looks good.
Jennifer Garner did a decent one. It was called Peppermint.
Peppermint,
yeah,
very good. Peppermint,
yeah. It was on Amazon Prime. That was a really good one, actually. I really enjoyed that one.
There's so many. I mean, you know, like if you talk about Lee, Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi's sister is awesome in that.
Do you know what? That does not interest me, that film, in the slightest.
Oh,
there's no way on earth.
It's not bad.
Oh, come on. Who cares about Shang-Chi?
Yeah, but Lee, that's fine. Like, because not you, Lee, other Lee.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
Get confusing. No, but see, this is the other thing I was also going to bring up now. A lot of these characters that are now being brought to the forefront are not, big A-list superhero characters, and I think some fans just aren't into it. And I remember when they announced Shang-Chi, and it's cool because obviously it's an Asian superhero, whatever. They're trying to bring him up. I understand that, but within the comics pantheon, he's not that big. He was never that popular.
Yeah, but
I think Iron Fist is more popular than Shang-Chi.
And Iron Fist was terrible.
What you got to remember, Iron Man wasn't that popular, but the difference was they built up a good character, right?
Iron Man,
they have not done that.
Iron Man was a B-lister. He was at least a B-lister.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi is not even a C-lister. He's like a D-lister.
What I'm trying to say is that there was potential for him to be a good character if they cared enough to write a good character.
No, but have you seen the film, Lee? Did you watch Shang-Chi?
I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen all of it. I couldn't
really
watch it all the way through.
The film is very good. And you have to remember...
I couldn't watch it all the way through, I'll be honest.
In essence, this character was written for Bruce Lee. That's who Stan Lee took the idea from. When he saw Bruce Lee as Kato and saw him in his movies, if we want to be cool, to have an Asian superhero in essence, if you want to say that. And just imagine, I know, I'm just trying to think now if Shang-Chi might have had a bigger martial artist. Donnie Yen's a bit old now, but obviously John Wick 4.
I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is, I don't think it matters who's playing who, right? That's not the problem. I think the problem is that you've got to make that character interesting, compelling, and make people care. And the problem is,
honestly, like
I know. But hang on, let me finish, right? Because I'm trying to get this out. Let me finish.
Go on, bruv.
The problem is that they're not letting people or informing people in a way that they actually care about these characters. That's the problem. Like when I watched them first lot of films all the way out to Endgame, or even in Infinity War, when the snap happened, I cared what happened to them characters. Now, if that snap happened in the new films, I wouldn't care less. I don't care. But I'm not invested in the new characters at all.
I think what Kevin Feige and them lot thought, they probably thought you've had 10 years of all of these guys, and they're all signed to certain contracts. Like Captain America was signed for 5 films or 6 films or wherever it was. Chris Evans was assigned to do 6 films or whatever it was. And I kind of thought after Endgame that everyone would be annoyed. Everyone would be like, "Oh, we had enough of them," but they wasn't. And everyone kept asking for a Captain America movie of him taking the stones back and him going to meet Red Skull. I mean, that would be killer after Endgame when you know he's going to take the stones back. That storyline would have been epic. The idea of what's happened with in Guardian of the Galaxies with Thor, because even in the new movie, you don't really know what really happened because you watch Love and Thunder, doesn't really explain it, what happened, really. Not really. It's really, really weird. But Guardian of the Galaxies 3, I thought was just made for them. I didn't think it was that good. I thought they just made it just to make it.
Yeah, I mean the second one as well. I mean they have
Second one
declined
was
as they've gone on.
alright.
Yeah, but like Gibbs said, it's a very good comment. They weren't a massive they didn't bring loads of people in, but that first film, when people watched that, everyone loved Guardians of the Galaxy.
The only reason Guardian of the Galaxies wasn't even a massive storyline, Star-Lord.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The only reason why they're in the movie is because when they took the Infinity Gauntlet saga, they're part of it. Otherwise, they never. If they didn't do Thanos as the big baddie in phase 2, 3, and 4, or 3 and 4, or whatever it was, you never would have got Guardian of the Galaxies because they're only before then. The comics were crap. Star-Lord looked weird. I've got Star-Lord #1 comic, and he looks weird in it. It's terrible. But it's only because they redone all the characters, they changed lots of stuff, they put them into the Infinity Saga, which is an awesome storyline, by the way. If you're able to get the Fat Book, it's awesome, rather than individual comics.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you never would have seen them because they're irrelevant, really, to the story. In terms of, before we only knew about Spider-Man and X-Men and Iron Man from the cartoons and all that jazz, but now, because of the Infinity Saga, we know about Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think the biggest misstep they made, right? This is where I think it all turned into a house of cards, right?
Go on.
Was getting rid of so many of, because don't forget, we watched these characters all the way through to Endgame.
Yep.
The problem they had was that they had let these people go. Unfortunately, their contracts were at an end.
Yeah.
I think they probably should have tried to extend them, because the problem they had, too many of the characters that we all loved all went after that movie. And that's the problem. You needed them characters to introduce the next generation of characters.
Yeah.
If you get my meaning. If they had have done that, people would have then been invested in the new guys. But they didn't.
They kind of still are. I mean, like, in the She-Hulk show, Hulk was in it.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
I know, I know, but the point I'm making is but the point I'm just making is, like, they have done that to some degree in some form.
Yeah.
Like
it could have been done better. It could have been done better.
But in the wrong way, though.
But this is the thing. Like, it's not necessarily about how they introduce the characters. It's ultimately just down to the writing and the likability of the characters.
Of course.
Like no one. It was like you said, Lee, Nerdy Geezer. Like, everyone loved Guardians of the Galaxy, even though no one knew who the hell they were prior to that, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically speaking, the same thing could happen with Shang-Chi. But Shang-Chi was a hit, though. Yeah. I mean, Shang-Chi made a lot more money than they even had any right to
exactly.
Be. So
I've got the figures here.
Yeah, but the figures are there, mate. It made money for a first film, new character. It made a shit ton of money. It was a hit.
It didn't make a shit ton, like, because the way it works is that they have to make over twice what the film cost.
I understand that, but how much did it actually make? Do you have it written down there?
So Shang-Chi cost 150 million, and it made 432.24 million. Right now, that might seem like a success, but
no, that's domestic. That's domestic. What's the global total?
No, that is the global. I googled it. That's what it come up with.
No, I made more than that.
Have a look now. That's what come up.
And I made close to 1 billion.
I thought it made at least 700.
It made close to 1 billion.
I think the last one that made 700 was For Love and Thunder. That one did quite well.
No. I know for a fact.
Surprisingly.
I know for a fact. No, Shang-Chi global box office final total was close to 1 billion, if not 1 billion. It made around that money.
Right,
I know that for a fact.
Let me just double check.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed Shang-Chi. I thought it was quite refreshing.
I'll say the problem I have with Shang-Chi, I enjoyed the film.
It's still saying 432 million worldwide. That's what it's saying.
No, that's not the total.
Let me show you.
No way.
Let me show you. Hang on. Got to do me magic. Hang on.
Work your magic, Lee. Work the magic.
Yeah, look, that's what it's saying here.
That's wrong.
It grossed over 432 million worldwide, making it the 9th highest grossing film of 2021. That's what I mean.
700. Well, I thought it made...
No, like I say, the one that made 700 was For Love and Thunder, but With that
Which
one,
is crazy.
that cost
I don't-
$250.
I don't have a computer to hand, so I can't check it myself. But I'm pretty sure that's not accurate because I remember that I also paid attention to what the numbers were on that, and that was actually considered like a ridiculous hit. Like it should be closer to around 800 mil, like not
See,
400.
See, you're saying it was a hit, but everyone I've watched has said it wasn't. That's the thing. Like,
It's a good film. It's a
Like the film-
good film. It's I'll tell you why it's good because it's so different than all the others.
But Lee, I'm telling you right now, that film was a hit. Like,
Oh yeah,
I
I think so.
I'm not talking to you, Lee Retro Chef. I'm talking to Nerdy Geezer.
Sorry, bro. Just call me Chef.
look, right. I'll share it here. I've just put Wikipedia up as well. It's got the same amount in there. If you can see down here at the bottom, it's very small, but it does say
Right.
432.
Well, because I don't have a computer to hand, I can't counter argument what you're saying. So I'll have to look it up after the fact. So for the stream, unfortunately, I can't argue it. But all I'll say is I'm pretty sure it made more than that. But anyway, moving on. I personally feel regarding Shang-Chi, I enjoyed the film, but I did feel that the third act it kind of fell off a little bit.
The ending was a bit naff. The ending was a bit naff.
It was,
But-
but I like the characters. I like the characters.
Yeah.
I thought Shang-Chi and his female friend played by Aquafina, who, by the way, I was expecting to hate.
Yeah,
Like that because that actress, right? I don't know what it's saying about her. She just annoys the crap
it's
out
her
of me.
voice. It's her voice.
Yeah, she's just like. But I liked their friendship because it wasn't a romantic. I kind of like
No.
the fact that they weren't romantically involved. It was just a friendship and there was little moments where you could really feel that they have a history together. They really get along, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
you could
it. These are
believe
little
it. You could believe
Yeah.
it.
these were little character moments that I really enjoyed, and that to me is what adds, is what I say, gives the film heart,
Yeah,
gives it a
definitely.
charm.
The-
And I felt that it had that. I felt that it had charm, and I think Nerdy Geezer, I think you should give the film another go. Like actually
definitely, mate.
sit down and give it a watch. But that being said, though, like I said, I do think the final act of the movie, it becomes a bit of a CGI mess.
Yeah.
Oh, don't they all? Like,
Yeah, like it, because it's the same thing I'll say about the first Black Panther film. Like I really enjoyed that film up until that final battle.
yes,
The
yeah.
CGI goes all a
Yeah,
bit
it was-
Pete Tom.
You can't tell who's who, can you? It's terrible.
Well, it's like it just felt unfinished. Like especially the fight between Killmonger and Black Panther.
That's
Too
what I
much
mean.
fancy
Right at the end.
They look terrible. They looked awful. And I was
they
like,
look
they-
rubbery for starters.
Yeah, they
didn't
look too rubbery. It looked like. Do you know what they look like? They look like Ben Affleck Daredevil, which
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out way back in 2004.
Oh, yeah, God.
Like
Daredevil.
that's how rubbery it looked. It looked
And-
terrible, and I was like,
The other problem was
no.
the suits were so similar that you couldn't see who was hitting who. You couldn't tell if it was
Yeah.
Killmonger hitting Black Panther or Black Panther killing. You couldn't tell. They were too similar looking. The suits are so
That-
close.
That film, the Black Panther film, was one of my favorite.
I'll be
Marvel
honest.
films.
I wasn't that much of a fan. I liked the character, but I didn't like his own film. I
It's
preferred him.
everything. It's the
I-
music. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the tech. I enjoyed Martin Freeman. I enjoyed just everything about it. But I thought the music was key as well, and especially in this film,
I
thought,
think
was really, really good.
I think when he's played that role, he's played it best when he's been in other films with other people. Like Civil War and the Avenger films he was in, I thought his character was great. Like
Civil War, he was very good.
especially in the fight scenes, I thought they were really good. I just felt when it then came to his own film, it I don't know, something just didn't seem right in that film for me. I mean, I know a lot of people really did like it, but yeah,
the thing I liked the most about the Black Panther film was Killmonger, and I liked his motivation for what he was doing.
yeah, it makes
actually
perfect sense.
100%.
It made a hell of a lot of sense. And
Good
like
writing.
I liked his character the most. And I was intrigued by the world of Wakanda
Yes.
And I like Shuri as well. I actually really liked her. I liked her dynamic with T'Challa, and it was interesting seeing all the tribes. I loved M'Baku.
M'Baku.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the big guy, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
From
Like,
the ape side of
yeah,
the ape side
yeah,
of,
yeah. Well, he
man.
in the comics he was the man ape, and he's actually a villain. But,
Yes.
like they decided they didn't want to use the man ape because obviously
Yes, of
certain
course.
connotations.
Well,
and
no,
whatnot.
you say that when they go to his
No.
like,
They still
you
worship
see it
the ape
above
god.
his
Yeah.
cave,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
No. They still have the ape theme, but they
Yeah.
just don't call him the man ape.
No.
You know, and that was cool. But I really liked M'Baku. They made him more of a good guy than a bad guy. He's a bit of an
Yeah.
antagonistic in the beginning, but like he wasn't an outright villain because in the comics he's more of a villain. But
Correct.
like I liked him. I really liked him.
You know,
There was a
one of
lot. There was a lot of positives.
One of
But,
my favourite scenes with Black Panther has got to be, in Infinity War when him and Cap take off running and they're just miles ahead of everybody else.
Yeah,
That's one of my
Yeah.
favourite scenes in that fight at the end.
I
That
agree.
and when,
Like,
that and when Thor
Well-
turns up with Stormbreaker and just
yeah,
kills
those little
everyone,
moments. Like I also really liked him in Civil War when
Yeah.
he fights Winter Soldier. But when he's escaping, when Winter Soldier is escaping from the facility, and so he's out of costume.
Yeah.
No, but he's out of costume.
Oh,
and
right.
they're fighting,
Yeah.
They're fighting on the staircase. Like I thought that was a really cool moment.
Mm.
And I really like that. I love Black Panther in Civil War, like as a whole. Like I
So-
thought he was.
It's a quick question, right?
Mm.
I know what mine is. What is, I'm going to say my favourite Marvel movie. What is your favourite? So my one is Iron Man. Iron Man, the first Iron Man is my favourite Marvel movie.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
in the MCU. If you was going to say outside of that, I'd say Blade because I love Blade. But it's Iron Man MCU. What's yours, Lee?
Can I have two?
No, one. You always do this. No, one.
One's a
Do you know-
cartoon and one's a real film. That's why.
No,
Yeah, but I'm
film.
on about cartoons. Just
Oh,
film.
but it's all about films.
My favorite, and to me, this is to me because the storyline and the way it got you in the feels, and you believed it, was Winter Soldier. When he saw Bucky Barnes,
That's my number two. Yeah.
I'm telling you, this film, and what's awesome as well, Sam Hargreaves, whatever his name is, the one plays. He's the stunt double for Captain America, and he was the director, producer for Extinction 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, is it Sam Hargreaves? Whatever his name is.
I don't know.
But this
yeah.
film, it's just Winter Soldier to me is the best villain. Yes, Thanos is good, but to me, he seems so ruthless, Winter Soldier. You know, when he's trying to kill Nick Fury right at the beginning. You know, when he's blowing up his truck and all that, and then the scene where his mask comes off, and Cap's looking at him. Yeah,
Right.
Civil War is great, okay, but
Yeah.
I didn't like Iron Man and Captain America fighting in the end because I like them.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a
I-
great
no,
fight scene. What are you
no,
talking about?
Not the. Listen, please. What?
No, the emotion behind it. The emotion behind it
and
was
that's what
amazing.
I didn't want them to fight because I was like, no.
No, I hear that. But like, I love the bit where Cap goes, he's my friend, and he goes, and Iron Man says, so was I.
So
I was
was
like,
I.
that just
It
hits
hits
you
you
in
right
the
there.
feels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does.
Like,
But this one, especially when the soldier's shooting Captain America, and I thought, fuck, he's gonna die. He's shooting him when he's trying to take the chip out to stop the warships going off, and then he falls off and he falls to his death, and Captain America still pulls him out and leaves him.
Mm.
Yeah, this film.
The
and
best
plus-
part about
it's
that
powerful
fight
as well.
choreography at the end of Civil War is the part where the shield's getting thrown about and basically
Oh.
Cap and Winter Soldier, they're sort of double teaming and sharing the shield, aren't they? In that fight, the choreography is really good in that bit.
Civil War was good, but say this is my favorite. Being obviously, but my favorite cartoon something else. But I won't do that now. But that's up there.
Rob, what's yours?
Iron Man 1 for me. Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Well, Chef stole my thunder because it's also Winter Soldier.
Oh,
I
sorry. I
like-
can pick
like-
another one if you wish.
No, to be honest with you, I gotta be honest with you. For me, it's always been a toss up between Winter Soldier and Civil War. I love them both, but I think I give the edge to Winter Soldier. Like I've got to be honest with you, the three Captain America films are my favorite films in all of the MCU. Like I love all three of them, and
The
and
funny
I-
thing for me, I mean, my favourite character before the movie started was always Hulk, right? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. When I was bodybuilding, I think if you weren't a Hulk fan, there's something wrong with you, really, isn't there? It just seems to be a normal thing. But I think over time, like when Iron Man come out and they developed the character, Iron Man is my favourite character in the MCU, without a doubt.
I just want to show you this just quickly. When you bought this film with this slip cover, you could buy it. You were Team Cap or Team Iron Man because you could have bought an Iron Man, and I bought the Team Captain America one. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
well, I
No,
think for me, like when back in those early days of the Marvel films, I was very excited for Captain America because when I was a kid, I used to read Captain America comics. I had like I always knew what, and some people were like a bit skeptical of Captain America because they thought he was going to be some government stooge, and it's like, no, Captain America is nothing like that at all. And I actually had, when I was a kid, I had a few Captain America and the Falcon. So I was actually excited to see both Cap and Falcon like together.
Yeah.
Because
I thought they were great together.
because I had a lot of those comics. So a lot of the comics I read were Captain America and the Falcon, and Falcon was really cool for me. So I was excited to see him.
I like Falcon as himself, though. I don't like what they've done with him now as Cap in the series.
Because that's a comic, isn't it? That's a comic arc.
That's also in the comic. But I'll be honest with you, I've never read any of those of Sam Wilson Captain America comics.
Yeah,
so like,
they're all right.
I can't comment on them. But I'll say this: like, I was excited for Captain America, and when it came out, I really liked the first movie. I do also feel that the first film kind of falls apart in the third act again, but for the most part, I just find that film really rewatchable.
Which one?
For me, the first Captain America, First Avenger.
Oh, the first Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually rewatched that film quite a lot. I love the
It's a good film. It is a good film.
because it was directed by what's his fucking name?
Kenneth Branagh.
No, it wasn't directed by Kenneth Branagh. He directed Thor.
Oh, Thor.
No.
My bad.
No, he was directed by Mark. I can't. But anyway, the guy that directed the first Captain America film, he worked on the original Indiana Jones film. He wasn't the director,
Johnston.
obviously. Joe Johnston, that's it. Joe Johnston. He also directed The Rocketeer.
Yes, he did.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, like, the reason why he got the Captain America gig was because he made a very pulpy 1940s comic booky hero with The Rocketeer.
Yes.
So that was the tone they were looking for when they wanted to make the first Captain America film. And in my opinion, he achieved it. He did what they wanted him to do. But I was really happy when they made Winter Soldier and it became a lot more sort of not grounded, but just a bit more serious because it's a different age. And I really liked what they did with Winter Soldier. I mean, I'm not going to go into it because Chef already did so, but it's
all right.
For me, the fight choreography, the storytelling, character arcs, like I loved it. It's not perfect, but but I really dug that film, and it left a lasting impression with the MCU going forward, because obviously the reveals of what was going on within S.H.I.E.L.D., it all kind of fell apart, and I loved it. So that to me was peak MCU.
I just want to draw attention to a couple of comments here, because this one here, for example,
I'd like to see what the comments
does
are
Condor Man count? Classic film.
I've just bought that on Blu-ray.
Classic film.
I don't know what I've never seen. I don't know what Condor Man is.
What's his face? Frank Spencer. Well, not Frank Spencer.
Michael Crawford, his name is.
Yeah,
he played Frank Spencer. Yeah,
I know him. He's like a comic book story, and then
he's a comic book artist, and he basically becomes a superhero, but he's a bungling superhero.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he
it's
puts
very
on a
good.
really dodgy American accent all the way through it.
Oh, right, okay.
Rob,
So,
you
yeah.
were talking about Rocketeer, yeah?
Hang on, Lee. Hang on.
Okay,
One more
go on.
comment. Hang on, one more comment. The other one, and I just wanted to point this out because this is relevant. Spider-Man. No, not that one. That's not it. It's this one I want. No Way Home was brilliant with all the Spider-Mans in. Now, I just want to point out that is the best Marvel film in the recent ones they've been doing, and also the most successful out of them too. And it's technically not owned by Marvel, is it? It's Sony. So it's interesting that. But yeah, I just wanted to point out that other companies can do Marvel films better than Marvel can.
Well, before we start giving Sony all that credit, they also make the fucking shitty Morbius, and I hate those Venom films as well. So quite frankly, they may own the rights to Spider-Man, but in terms of the creative control, I'm pretty sure that's mostly Marvel because they can't write characters to save their lives. They're awful with them films.
I agree with everything you just said, but these latest Spider-Man films are good.
No, I
really enjoyed that latest one. I thought it was great.
I've not seen the latest Into the Spider-Verse film. I've not seen.
Not that one. I meant the No Way Home.
Yeah.
I meant.
No, I dug them. I have my issues with those films, but but for the most part, I do enjoy those films quite a bit. I'll say that.
What I was going to say, Lee, I've just bought the Rocketeer / Captain America comics. They should be here soon. They're like a retelling because Rocketeer was meant to be with Captain America, and there is comics with him together. But the best Spider-Man movies, Into the Spider-Verse. If you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse,
I'll be honest with you, Chef. Like I've seen the first one, and I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I thought it was
good.
No. It's not awful. It's not awful. Like I enjoyed it, but I just didn't. I think it's a bit overrated.
Oh my lord! This film done so well that that they never thought it was going to do as good as it did. The second film, Sony and Marvel allowed them to add real life scenes into the movie. I ain't going to spoil it, but when it goes to the multiverse and different universes, you see Tobey Maguire's films. You see Tom Holland. You see all them.
But Chef, that's great. But for me, honestly, that doesn't really excite me. This is the other thing I wanted to bring up at some point was the fact that listen, I love my member berries and I love my cameos like any other person. And I'm sure the story is good because I did from what I've heard about the new Spider-Verse film that the story is really good. So I'm not knocking the film at all. Like I say, I'm going to watch it.
It's really good.
I love the character of Miles Morales. I love that character. But the thing is that I just wasn't as enamored with the first film as most people were. I think it's really good, but I just wasn't captivated by it as much as the next people. So I wasn't super excited for the sequel. So again, I didn't go see it in cinema. I want to watch it, but I'm sure it's good. But I don't know.
I went twice.
Yeah, but then this has got more to do with me and how I feel about animation. And I know some people might say to me, Rob, you're a big fan of animation. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm not such a big fan of 3D animation.
I'm with you. I'm not a fan of the Spider-Verse animation at all. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think it looks great, but there's always been a bit of a disconnect with me with 3D animated films in general. There's loads that I enjoy, and the animation has gotten great over the years, but I just kind of I don't know. I just prefer 2D animation.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Just call me an old fart. I don't know, whatever.
No,
but
that's fine. But
I guess what I'm saying is that's part of why I'm not just so forthcoming with it. I'm more excited to see a live action Miles Morales film than I am to see an animated one.
I think Billy made a comment earlier, which I think is probably why they did it this way. Test it out on the Disney Plus malarkey. And I think what Marvel have done, or Sony, is they've tested the water with these characters like this, because I've waited 30 years to get a Spider-Man 2099 Miguel O'Hara character in a movie. Now, this character is played by Oscar Isaacs, the voice anyway, yeah, who's been in every bloody film. He's in Moon Knight, which is another awesome TV show. He does the voice of Miguel O'Hara for Spider-Man 2099, and the character is awesome. The character is awesome. Oh, Champion Ultra. He's awesome.
He's right though. He's right though.
But then, what makes it awkward is that I mean, like, I'm just gonna quickly show one quick DC.
Right. Hang on, Lee. While you're
and that's 2D, isn't it? That's all 2D style. God of Monsters, you know, and that's an awesome one. But then I hear what you're saying about the 3D because it is a bit weird to look at, you know.
No, look. This is my personal preference. Like, I'm not hating on 3D animation per se. I'm just saying that, like, that's my own personal preference. Like, I'm not against it per se. It's just I just prefer 2D animation.
Back up his channel, Dave.
So, like, but I do absolutely love the character of Miles Morales, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like the moment they announce a Miles Morales Spider-Man film, I'm down. I'm there. I'm up for it. I love the character.
Who's gonna play it?
We'll see. But I'll just say this: he's a great character.
Yeah.
I like the way they've used him. They've not tried to replace Peter Parker. He's very much his own character with his own supporting cast. And the only thing that kind of bugs me, and it's a small niggle, it's not a big niggle, it's a small niggle. I don't like that they call him Spider-Man. Have your own name.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gets confusing. Like, because some people might say, well, it's more of a title than a name, you know, like Green Lantern. But it's like, but like because they interact so much, you know, like Peter Parker and Miles Morales, you know, they interact quite a bit. It just gets kind of confusing. Just like have your own name, man. Just like, you know.
Right. I just want to address this comment because I've had it up here a while. So Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises proves that Marvel aren't the only ones who can make superhero movies. Now, we have pretty much just been talking about Marvel. We do need to remember that there are other franchises, DC being one of them. And I think really a lot of relevance, especially in recent times, what's going on with James Gunn, and what a massive misstep that you've got films coming out and you then announce that you're restarting the DCU. And so you've now got a group of films coming out that have got nothing to do with the new films that will be coming. Yeah. So why would people now want to go and watch them? Because what you're telling them is them films now don't matter.
I agree. It's I'm gonna tell you now, it's gonna massively impact Aquaman 2.
Oh, absolutely. That, and also the fact that you've got what's her name, Amber Heard in it as well. That's going to do that from no favour.
But I've heard she's barely in it though, so I'm not really.
I thought they recasted her. I thought they recasted.
No. I mean, I heard they minimised their role, so she's not even in it that much.
I mean, did any of you guys notice that with the Flash, for example, all the press things were done by Michael Keaton? They didn't have Ezra anywhere near it because of his antics in the papers and that. You know,
look, I've not seen the Flash movie, and I'm a massive.
I haven't yet.
Yeah, okay. I want to make this clear, right? The Flash is one of my favorite DC heroes. Okay, I never liked Ezra Miller in the role of Flash from the very beginning.
Me neither.
Nothing to do with his antics. I mean, that's another thing altogether. But like,
terrible actor.
I never liked him in the role, and then after all this stuff about him came out, you know, it just turned me right off. Now, again, I can separate the art from the artist, but at the same time, with you know, I don't like him in the role. You know, you've got all this crazy shit about him, and on top of all of that, James Gunn announces that, you know, we're rebooting the MCU. So basically, this film doesn't really matter anymore. So you've got these three things, which for me are big deals. So you've just, like, no matter how, I actually thought the trailers looked really good. The trailer looked great.
Yeah.
But it killed my hype for the film to the point where I was like, I'll catch it on streaming.
Yeah,
like
it's irrelevant.
You know, yeah, exactly. And as I think, and I do think, I agree with you, Nerdy Geezer. Like, it was a big misstep to announce that you're going to reboot when you still have 3 or 4 movies to put out.
Yeah,
you know,
And of course, that's not the only misstep. I mean, they also fired Henry Cavill as Superman.
The
Why
only
would you
thing
do
I
that?
No, they
The
brought
only
him
thing
back.
I-
No, they rehired him.
Yeah, but then they
Only
fired
to-
him again.
And then they fired
Yeah,
him,
because their plans changed, not because they had issues with him, but because their plans changed. They were gonna bring him back because they reintroduced him in Black Adam.
correct.
You know,
Yeah,
and
I know.
but the thing that they were gonna bring him back, but obviously they made a massive shift in what they chose to do with DC going forwards. So then Henry Cavill was out again. You know, it is what it is.
I
The
just
only
think
thing
if
I'll
you're going to
say-
have someone play Superman, I mean, Henry Cavill is the guy. Like, you know,
No, yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, look, I haven't seen the new guy act, but from looks wise, he looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the new guy.
he
they
yeah,
needs. He's going to need to bulk up a lot, though. He's going to really need to bulk for
Oh
that.
well, look, so did Henry Cavill. Have you seen
Yeah.
the picture of Henry Cavill when he first had his costume test?
Oh
He
yeah,
had no
yeah.
muscle on him.
I don't doubt him. I don't doubt it. But don't
The
forget,
only thing
they'll
I'd
go on the
say-
steroids before they do these films. They
The
all
only
do.
Yeah,
thing
listen.
I'll say is that James Gunn is tried and tested. Brightburn, Guardian of the Galaxies, multiple films he's done good.
Peacemaker was Peacemaker was fantastic.
Very
I
good.
love that show.
Now, what I will say is, yes,
Did you just say Brightburn, Lee?
yeah, he was involved with Brightburn.
Yeah. I was just checking because that's a great film. Brightburn's
Yeah,
a great
that's what
film.
I'm saying. He's got a good background, but all I will say is, I'm pissed off Henry's not doing it. But what I don't get is we're in a day and age now where he could have gone on social media live like we are and explained what his idea in essence, so that people kind of stop hating on him, because I'm sure whatever he does is going to be awesome.
Yeah, but no
I
one's
do
hating on
believe
him
that.
though. It's only Hollywood. I mean, for example, he got fired from The Witcher because he said to them he wasn't happy with the fact that they weren't sticking to the source material,
That's right.
and they fired him. Like
Yeah.
Hollywood has an issue with him. Like it's not anyone in the public. It's Hollywood that
I
don't
just
like
think
him.
There's been statements saying that he's quote unquote difficult to work with.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's that difficult to work with when you turn around and say, "Oh, look, mate, The Witcher is me, and the show should be about me, and you're doing it about something else and not following the source material." Is that being
Tom
difficult
Cruise-
to work with, or
Tom-
is that actually
Tom-
sticking
Tom-
to the story?
Tom Cruise said that Henry Cavill was awesome to work with. He said he
Oh,
really
yeah.
liked him.
And
Mission
while you're
Impossible.
talking about Tom Cruise, what a legend! I mean, his film is killing it at the moment. Like,
Well, yeah, Mission
but
Impossible
we'll
is
get
great,
to that.
great films, man. They're
We'll
great.
get to that. We'll get to that.
I do think if James Gunn come out and kind of just explain what he wants, because I think that's where the confusion. Because if they're gonna team it up, for example, with Robert Pattinson as Batman, or in some respects bring them together in some way, I think people wouldn't mind. Because I actually thought for Batman was very, very good. You know, year 2 Batman as well, might I add, not year 1 where he's learning. We've got a year 2 Batman, or Project. What did he call it in the thing? Project Gotham, or wherever he called it anyway. But it's year 2 is that Batman. And if we're
I
going
actually like Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought he was pretty good.
I
As an
think-
older Batman.
yeah, listen, Ben Affleck as
We got
Batman
Robs.
is the
We got
cartoon.
Robs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is the
We got
cartoon
Robs.
version.
He
I'm
wasn't
sorry,
putting a
man,
good
like-
film.
Like we needed a Ben Affleck solo Batman.
He was
film, right?
writing one, wasn't he?
We
He was
got
writing
robbed.
one, but then if the rumors
Yeah.
are true, he pulled out because when Snyder got taken off and Josh Whedon got put in for Justice League, that's when Ben Affleck said, "I'm out of here."
Yeah, but
Apparently.
do you know who the character he was up against in that film? One of my favourites, Deathstroke.
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 Yeah.
That
And the
would have
guy
been
who
a
was
great
playing him-
film.
The guy was playing him, who's in Snyder Cut, which is one of the best superhero movies. I love that film so much. When that come out, I watched it 3 times back to back. I ain't even joking with you. I love that film. But that actor, whatever his name is, he's Big Dick Rick, innit? I can't think of his real name, but he's in
Joe Manganiello, something like that.
yeah, and he's married to
Yeah.
Sofia Varga, innit? The girl from the TV show. He looked wicked as Deathstroke. Like he looked on point.
Oh, you're
So-
on about the TV show? Yeah,
No,
you're I'm on about
No.
I'm
in
talking about-
Arrow. In Arrow,
No.
Deathstroke was
No, not
well
Bo, not Bo Manuel
no.
or Manuel Bo, not him.
Manu Bennett.
Yeah,
You're
that's
thinking
him,
of.
not him.
I
I'm
liked
talking-
him as Deathstroke in Arrow.
Yeah,
I
he
thought
was good. But the
He was
guy
good.
who in the Snyder Cut, there's a
You
scene
see him.
you
You
see
see him.
that the actor who was going to be Deathstroke in the Affleck movie because
Oh
he
yes,
was
I know.
training.
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
training for it, and he's a tall guy, and obviously trained by Ra's al Ghul in the story. Awesome story, Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Can I
Um,
say something? Can I say something? Right? Not so just like a little bit. Talk about a different DC film here. I watched it. I actually watched it a few days ago.
Go on.
I liked Black Adam. Black Adam.
Yes.
I like Black Adam.
So did
I
I.
like Black Adam.
So did I.
Like
I thought it was
I
good.
was, I honestly was expecting to fit. I thought it was going to be shit, and
No,
I actually
it's
came
good.
away. I actually came away thinking I quite enjoyed that film.
Yeah, it's
I
a good
quite
film. It's got a great story. They've like Dwayne Johnson. You know, what can he do wrong? Nothing really.
He
I
plays
thought
a
he-
good anti-hero. He does play
Oh,
a good
yeah.
anti-hero.
Very good.
No, but you know, but
Good film.
probably the thing I liked, which I thought they were going to just half-ass it, but I actually
No,
felt
they've
they
done a
gave
good
them
job.
quite a bit to do. Was the JSA like Hawkman? Like I
Yeah.
actually thought they were going to like sideline them properly, but I
Yeah.
really
Good.
liked a lot of the only one that I thought was disposable was the female one, Cyclone. She didn't have nothing to do, but like.
Yeah.
But the other characters, like Atom Smasher, they kind of made him into like a Peter Parker, Spider-Man-ish sort of
It
Yeah.
young
was
kid.
strange, wasn't it? Because he was a
It-
rental. They just fanned him because he kept saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
He was the comedy
It-
relief, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was like the rookie of the group. He was basically like the Spider-Man of the group. Like he was like the kid.
Yeah.
But I liked
was
him.
very good.
I liked
Piers
him.
Brosnan.
You know, I liked him. I found myself really enjoying the movie, and I was like, it's a real shame this movie flopped because it was actually a quite a fun movie. And I think, I think probably the worst thing about it is that The Rock really should have been introduced in the Shazam film first,
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
and then went on to make his own films.
definitely."
You know,
Yes. Would
I
have
think
made
that
more
was probably
sense.
I think that was probably one of the biggest mistakes. Although I will say this though, as much as I enjoyed the first Shazam film,
Number 2.
I've not seen it yet. I've not seen the second one.
No, me
It's not
neither.
good.
I didn't
I-
like it. I just thought
Okay.
very gimmick.
Too many of them.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not just I enjoyed the many of them because I liked the idea of that, but I just thought he had like when you watch it, you'll just see it.
Okay.
The film,
I'll say
the first
this.
one was good, you know.
I will say this. I don't like the guy that plays Shazam.
No,
Oh, I don't mind him. I don't
Zachary
mind him.
Levi.
No,
was his name.
I don't mind him as an actor. I actually like the guy, but I felt that he doesn't because obviously he's not that big, and obviously I don't expect everyone to look like The Rock. Of course not.
Hmm.
But he needed to be bigger.
Yeah,
like-
definitely.
And it just looks so obvious that he was wearing a padded suit, and it didn't,
Yeah.
and it doesn't look right.
Do you-
It does seem that in the sequel they make his suit look a little bit better, but in the first film, he just looks like he just looks like a cosplayer
Do you know?
that's wearing like a muscle suit,
Yes, he
Look,
does.
I
You're
want-
right. He does.
and
Yeah.
it looks off. It looks
Yeah.
off.
I want to ask you a quick little question.
No.
In Black Adam, maybe even Lee can answer. In Black Adam, he says the word Shazam
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he turns back to himself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen Batman versus Shazam versus Black Adam versus Superman? It's only like a half an hour
Yes,
cartoon.
I have it.
No.
I have it.
Now, what happens when Black Adam says Shazam in that?
He turns to dust. He
So
dies.
yes, because he goes back to his original self, which would be 4,000 years old. That's the
So
only
he's
part of the
old,
film
yeah.
I didn't understand in the new one. I mean, I'm just saying because again, material references what I've watched on a cartoon.
Mm.
When he says Shazam, that's why he won't say it ever because he will die. He knows that.
Also, Chef, you're looking for logic in a film about magic and.
I know, mate.
That's true. That is true.
Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to
I
find some
found
sort
it
of
very
logic in it. Like,
interesting.
I'm like,
I found it very interesting.
yeah.
And the voice is that guy the one from the Mummy, is it not? The South African guy. What's his bloody name? Plays Zartan in G.I. Joe in the movie. And he's the Mummy in the Mummy.
Something Vosloo.
Yeah, he does the
Something-
voice
Yeah.
of Black Adam, I think, in the cartoons. I could be
Oh, I
wrong.
don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway, sorry. But yeah, I found
but,
it
but there was an interesting. I came away with an interesting thought when
on.
I finished watching Black Adam, and it was like I thought to myself, I enjoyed this film,
Mm.
but then again, I'm also very familiar with all these characters and their backstories.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, but
Is that
none of
why
it
you
was
liked
really.
it?
Yeah, but the thing is, but I don't know if none of it was really explained in the movie, so I have to put myself in the shoes of a casual viewer
Yes.
because in my head I can explain everything because
Yeah.
I know it all. Like
Yep.
a good example would have been the villains, Intergang, right?
Yep.
Now in the film, they have highly advanced technology. Now I know why they have highly advanced technology. I know where it comes from, but in the film, it's never explained.
Correct.
They never explain it.
No.
And
Yeah.
and it's like, if I was a casual movie going audience member, I don't think I'd understand any of this movie. Like, because
Exactly.
a lot of it, like, I know who Hawkman is. They don't really reveal too much about. They did give you some backstory on some of the characters, but they don't tell you much about Doctor Fate. They don't tell you much about Hawkman.
They tell you nothing about Doctor
they-
Fate. Yeah, nothing.
And like they hint at certain things, but again, because I know about those characters, like, I'm okay. But like, for a general movie going audience, they don't give them any information.
I think
So I
you're
can
right.
kind of, yeah. So I can kind of see why that film didn't resonate with people, because
They
you
couldn't
gotta
make sense
understand
of
it. Yeah, I mean, us comic book people, we're a small percentage of the audience,
Mm.
but the vast movie-going audience are not comic book people, especially characters like Hawkman and Doctor Fate.
Yeah.
So I liked it, but I
Yeah.
can understand why most people didn't.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I think it makes perfect sense. I'm with you as well. I do actually agree with you there. I think if you know the character, then you're fine. Like you just said, I mean, Dr. Fate, they do not tell you anything about him. Literally nothing.
He's a great character as well.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
The comics
He-
are unreal.
Yeah.
He's a character that film needed to, even if it was just for 10 minutes, needed to concentrate on him, just so that people understood who he was. But
Yeah.
it doesn't, does it? It really
No,
doesn't.
my daughter, we went to cinema to see it. My daughter was like, my eldest was like, Daddy, who is he? I said, he's like the Doctor Strange of DC in a roundabout way, kind of like.
Yeah, kind of.
Not exactly. He plays more. He's similar. I said.
Well, he serves that function.
Yeah.
He's like, he is the sorcerer of the good guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. But, it's a great
Talking
film.
about superheroes. Yeah, it's a series, but what about The Boys? I'll be honest, I don't watch it. I don't watch it.
Very good, The Boys. Wow, Lee.
Oh, Boys
Very
is
good.
awesome. I flipping love the
Yeah.
Boys.
Do you know why I haven't watched it? I was going to, but then I started hearing things about. Is it the latest series? I heard some things about the latest series, and I was like, "Oh no!" It sounded like it was going a bit woke at one point. I was like, "Oh, I don't
Do you
know if I
want
want
do
to
you
watch
want
that."
do you want to know do you want to know something funny, right? One of my closest mates, right? Well, I haven't spoken to him in a while now. But he's a YouTuber as well, and he actually made a video like breaking down The Boys, because he's very much like yourself, Nerdy Geezer. Like he's anti woke, and
Yeah.
he makes some really well thought out videos, and he goes deep with like dissecting wokeness in media.
Yeah.
I'll link you his video so you can see it for yourself.
What's his
But
channel?
like, it's called. I'll link it to you, but I think it's called Funhouse. Welcome to the Funhouse, or Funhouse Entertainment. I'll link it to you in any case.
Oh, cool.
But, he actually made a video breaking down The Boys.
It's
And,
awesome.
like-
Lee, you'll love it.
And no, but like I don't agree with it per se, with what he said, but because when it comes to woke, it's actually going to lead into a topic that I think relates to what we're talking about here, and because sort of the wokeness and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm not super sensitive to wokeness in media unless it's like overt. So like, if it's blatant wokeness, I will call it out. I don't like it, whatever. But I've come to expect, just in media in general, that there's always some degree of message in every in like, not, I'm not just talking about recent films, just since they've been making movies.
Oh, yeah. It's
There's
always
always
been a
been-
thing.
There's always been a degree of message, and like there's always been a level of wokeness in media. I'm not bothered by more subdued wokeness, whereas my friend, he's very, very sensitive to those subliminal woke messages that are just not so apparent, but when you start to break things down, it all starts to reveal itself. I don't necessarily agree, because I think sometimes you're just looking too deep into something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you can start to, like, you know what I mean. But you know, I just don't like the overtness, and I think to the point where a lot of the times, a lot of the wokeness isn't even coming from the films themselves, but from the hype train that's being built up for the film.
Yeah, the people who won't
Like,
shut up. Yeah.
yeah, they won't
Yeah.
shut up. Like, and
Yeah.
all they're doing is they're turning people off the films. Like, I believe there was this thing about Barbie where one of the creators said something about, oh, this film tackles gender roles or something like that, or something to that degree. And it's like, and all I read was a bunch of people saying, okay, well, now I'm not going to see. You just killed that film for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
I think the problem is at the moment, right, and I'm going to say it how it is, or at least how I see it, and I'm not the only one, because a lot of people say it this way, right? Is at the moment, I don't know why, but with a lot of these movies, and this is Hollywood in general, they seem to be very much at the moment anti-male, and especially anti-white male. Now, being a white male myself, clearly I'm going to have an issue with that. And so I think that's probably one of the reasons why it gets my back up. I mean, like I said, I watched the new Transformers film today, and at the start of that film, I got the message of what they were trying to do right at the start, and it nearly took me out of the film completely. If it weren't for the fact that I was still doing stuff in the front room, pottering around, and then the action started, and I was like, oh, this is quite good, I would have been checked out. And it was all because you've got a black character that's working in a museum, right? She's the brains of the operation. She knows all of the facts about all the artifacts and all this stuff. And basically, she's got a boss that's stealing what she tells her and then going and making nice and making out like she's the one who knows all this information. But of course, what is the boss? She's white, right? Now, you would have let that go. But then when it gets to the point where you then see the South American guy going for a job interview and the boss just won't hear him out and he's totally unreasonable and says, you're not having the job, even though I said it's yours, you're not having it. Guess what colour he is? He's white, you know? And it kept on like that for the first 10 minutes of the film. And I totally checked out at that point. It was like, why is it that every time you've got a bad guy these days, it's got to be a white person, and 9 times out of 10, it's got to be a male? Like, why can't we have a female bad guy? Why can't we have, you know, why is colour got to be a thing? And why has sex got to be a thing? I don't understand it. And I think this is why I've got a real issue with it at the moment, because namely, it's mainly aimed at my demographic, I suppose. You know, so
yeah, I can understand that, but like, I guess when it comes to villains, I mean, traditionally, like, you know, bad guys were always, you know, white British males.
yeah,
Like,
that's another thing I always had an issue with. Why do all the British guys always talk with a posh accent? We don't talk like that.
No, because it all stems from colonialism.
Yes.
Like they're the oppressors. So like, even in Star Wars, you know, like all the Empire like spoke with British accents. Like,
Yeah,
you know, it's a Hollywood trope, but like, it is what it is. But like, I think, but the problem is now is that they're really against the white male hero,
yeah,
and I think probably the one, and I'm going to be interested to hear what you both have to say on this, but like, probably the one sort of movie trope that I think does need adjusting. So call me woke on this one if you feel, guys. I'll understand. Don't worry. It's the white savior trope. And what I mean by that,
I'm with you there.
yeah. So if anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, the white savior trope is basically where white guy goes into ethnic person's culture, insert whatever country you want, masters their secrets and skills or whatever, and becomes the best of their people, whatever, and becomes basically their hero of the ethnic people. So there's a lot of stories that follow that kind of formula, and so like they don't like that trope anymore, and that's understandable.
It's basically they call it culture approach,
Cultural appropriation.
appropriation. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
I personally, like with the films of the past, I don't care so much, but I understand why people might have an issue with it today. And
Yes.
so I get that. That's fine. But like I don't think that we should like completely avoid it. Like, for example, that's actually partly the reason why we'll probably never see a traditional Iron Fist film.
Yeah.
Because of that trope.
Yes.
And also why the last Tarzan film, despite being pretty good, wasn't a hit. Because it came out in a time where people just don't want to see a white person goes into ethnic culture and basically becomes the best of them.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the story of Tarzan, and I do believe there's a way that we can keep Tarzan, but sort of change that trope. Like, I don't want Tarzan to be abandoned. I think there's a way to reinterpret it while still keeping to the foundations of what Tarzan is. But I get it, but I think what needs to happen is we just need to see more ethnic heroes, but with good writing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we suddenly stop heroes that star white people.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to see that stopping. I don't want to see that make new characters or like highlight old, like because this is the thing, because you said yourself, Lee Nergiza, that you couldn't get into Shang-Chi, but then no, Shang-Chi, in my opinion, whether you like the film or not, and I know bad writing, whatever, but like, it's a step forward in the sense of they're trying to bring more of the minority characters to the forefront, and that to me is not a bad thing. Whether they stick or not,
it's not a bad thing.
Whether it sticks or not, that's up for debate. But that character has been established since the 1970s, so he wasn't made in the woke era. He's been around forever.
Well,
I'm okay with that.
That's not the problem, is it?
I know. It's because it really just comes down to writing.
Yes,
at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, I will watch anything. If the writing's good, I will watch anything. That's the problem. It's always got to be the politics first, and then a terrible story to go with it. Whereas back in the day, they didn't do that.
Well, they're putting agenda ahead of story.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be that way. And this applies to all movies in general, not just Marvel films.
Oh yeah,
DC
absolutely.
Films. Yeah, I just wish that. I think maybe they're starting to come around now because they're starting to realize that a lot of these quote unquote woke movies are failing at the cinema.
Right. Okay. Now we can segue into my next part because what I was going to say here is this is the thing, we're seeing a decline because let's not forget, superhero movies were literally ruling over the box office for quite some time, but we are now starting to see a decline, and we're starting to see action movies come back.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. A lot of people don't realize, but a Marvel movie's 200+ million to do, right? An action movie, depending on how you've done it, with what actors. I mean, have any of you guys seen Sisu? That was $6.5 million.
Nice.
$6.5 million. And I'm telling you, it's the best film I've seen this year. If you ain't seen Sisu, you've got to watch it. It's a brilliant film.
Very good film.
Can I say one thing, right? One thing that, because it's coming from a strong comic book movie fan, it has always bothered me that comic book movies became the de facto action movie.
Yes.
On the big screen, and that really bugged me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I love my comic book movies, but that should not have taken away from other action movies on the big screen. And I think that's possibly why John Wick became such a special series.
Well, it's another one. See, John Wick. I mean, that latest one. Oh man, that's a great film, and it's very long, but you don't notice it. It's so good, you don't notice it. But
I haven't seen the latest one yet.
It's good. The only thing I'll say about it's 3 hours of him shooting people, which is awesome.
Yeah, but that's why it don't seem 3 hours.
Yeah, but then he says about 30 words. It's like Blade Trinity 3. It's like Blade Trinity 3 when Wesley Snipes said about 20 words in the whole movie or wherever it was.
Yeah, but why
It
do you
was,
need
um,
words, right?
yeah.
I mean, if you've watched Sisu, you will know the main character don't speak until the end of the film because he doesn't need to.
But then, I think that's something that is relevant to the film because obviously the story you're portrayed of him, he's a quiet man.
But that's how you know a good story. His actions speak louder than his words. He don't need to speak.
But then, what really annoys me is
I think what Chef is getting at is that also you got to remember that this is the 4th film in the series.
yeah, exactly.
Like because he didn't speak much in the first movie,
No,
and
but
it worked.
2 and
But I
3,
think, but I think once you get into the 4th movie, his character needs to grow a bit.
correct.
And
Because
I-
in
and
the
I-
first
and I
film,
think-
it was really good.
It does a bit. I mean, 1 and 4 are actually my favourite ones. I didn't like 2 and 3 so much.
3 was I enjoyed 3 because they travelled multiple countries. The scenes with the dog with Halle Berry, I thought was awesome.
Do you know
But-
why I like the first one the most? Because the world's smaller. I kind of prefer that. I don't like the bit where they
That
kill the
makes
dog, though.
Yeah,
Like, you can kill as many humans as you want. Don't kill animals. I don't like it.
that's fair enough.
Like, I don't like that bit when they keep that dog squealing. I hate it.
It's
Yeah,
like,
but that just made killing that guy even sweeter. Like, you know what I mean?
That,
Like, you
that
want-
made me
you
want to
guy
kill
dead.
that guy. Like,
Yeah.
so, I hate that.
it's like now, like I really like this is going to be awkward now because their films are shit now. Fast and Furious franchise, okay?
Oh,
Now, I enjoyed 1 to 4.
5 was the last good one, I think.
5 was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, 5
4
was
and
great.
5 were more action movies, whereas 1, 2, and 3, and a little bit of 4 was about the cars, which is why it took me to the cinema in the first place.
Yeah, but
I
you had to
wasn't
do
worried.
something to keep the series going, didn't you? I get why they did it. You know?
But I think it's gone the wrong direction completely.
Well,
Now,
yeah, the
I-
minute
I'm
you're
gonna
taking
say
out
this, I
submarines
loved-
with cars,
I'm gonna say
And go
I
to
love
space
7.
as well.
I thought for me it should have ended with 7. I love 7, and I thought it was the
didn't-
perfect send off.
okay, let me just say,
Like-
I enjoyed them. I'm not. All I'm saying is that I'm a car guy, and I went to the cinema to see the first film, and I was like, wow, for once, no one's getting blown up or stabbed to death and whatever. It's about the cars. They're talking about the modifications. They're talking about the cars, and I really enjoyed that. Number 2 was kind of like there, kind of there. It was a bit about a drug baron and the cars. The third film was
Yeah, but
kind
Chef,
of about the cars.
they were never. To be, let's be honest now. None of those films were really all that good. They're guilty pleasures. Like I remember.
you know what
I
you're
went to
getting
s-
with them.
Yeah, like I went to the
Yeah.
cinema with a whole. I went to the cinema with a whole bunch of my mates, like girls and guys. We all went to go see the seventh film, you know, and we all enjoyed it. But we all called it what it is. We thought, you know, it's entertaining fluff. Like it was.
Yes.
It's just fun.
When they
Popcorn.
went to space,
Turn your brain off. You
when
know,
they went to space in
No,
the,
but
in the
listen,
February.
look, I'll be honest with you. I've not seen the 9th film
Oh my
because
god!
I saw the 8th film. I saw the 8th film, and I found it kind of boring, and I fell asleep. And I felt that, so like I never had the impetus to like go see the 9th or the 10th film. I'll watch them someday, but I just haven't felt. I didn't like Hobbs and Shaw. Thought that was a waste of time.
Hobbs and Shaw
Nah,
was
I thought-
awful. That was an
That
awful film.
yeah. But that film went on for far too long, and for what it
Terrible
was, and it was
movie.
like, yeah,
So-
I was a waste of time. So
So
like,
Lee,
from,
Lee,
Go on.
what about Expendables 4?
It's not out.
Well,
yet.
it's coming out.
I cannot
It's out
comment
yet.
on a film that's not out yet.
Yeah.
You seen the trailer?
No.
no, the trailer. I haven't
Yes,
seen it yet.
there's a
Oh,
trailer.
I'll check it out.
Hey, hang on. Before we get on to Expendables, I just want to say something about Fast and Furious. So,
Okay.
for me, what the reason why I started to fall out of love them, because I did love them films, right? Is the minute you started using cars to bring down a Hercules plane, then you take out a submarine with cars, then all of a sudden you're getting launched into space. Of all cars, in a lemon, because they were known as lemons, these cars,
The Furies,
Pontiac Ferrera.
yeah.
My God, you're going into space in a Pontiac Ferrera. Really? Like, terrible films. Like, when they got to that point, I was checked out. Like, but
Well, they're
like,
not-
like
look.
Rob said, they are popcorn eating movies.
I think,
you know
yeah, I
what
need
you're
to
getting.
look
They're
on different.
enjoying. There's no
just-
preaching. There's
They're
just action.
fluff.
Yeah.
They're just fluff. They're just
They're just
enjoyable.
fluff.
guilt.
I
Like,
get ya,
like
I get them.
they're guilty pleasures. Like even the listen,
Exactly.
even the first one. even the very first movie, right? It was a Point Break ripoff, and it was basically them about them stealing DVD players. DVD players.
In
Bro.
fast cars, in Honda Civic, and
Yeah.
Supras, which was awesome.
What the hell are they doing?
Oh,
Like, but the thing is, at the end of the day, they're just entertaining fluff, and I love them. I love my fluff, man. I love all that popcorn fluff. That's fine. They can. I don't mind dumb movies. You know, they know what they are. That's cool.
That's
with
right.
me.
That's right. I agree.
You know.
Yeah.
So like, but I think when I got to 8, I just felt kind of bored by it. And like I just felt because 7 for me just seemed to end it well. Like I thought it was a good run. 7 movies. That's amazing. That's a crazy good run.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so like I saw 8 in the cinema, and I just forgot all about it. I was like, it's kind of whatever.
So going back to what we said about the action movie. So Extraction 2, 65 million that cost, right?
Yeah.
The Covenant, if you haven't seen that, that's a good film.
Yep.
55 million.
Yep.
Now Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, that's going to be dearer, right? It is going to. 291 million, but you know that film's going to do well. You know it's going to, because it's Tom Cruise and everybody loves him.
Actors, isn't it? Lots of
and
good
so
actors.
they should. He's the last action star we've got left. Let's be honest. You might maybe have, you know, Chris Hemsworth coming to that point eventually, but at the moment,
no, because Chris Hemsworth doesn't have the body of work. Like when you actually look at his filmography,
well, not at the moment, but he
like,
might get there. I mean, Extraction 1 and 2 are good action films.
Well, there's been talk of him. There's been talk of him retiring for a while, so I don't know how long he's going to carry on.
He's not well, is he? He's
Yeah, they found that he's got like they found like, is it MS?
something. Well,
They found something in his brain. Yeah.
Oh, let's hope not. Christ.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be terrible. Like, my mother-in-law had that. That's a horrible disease.
Yeah.
Oh,
He ain't well. He's not well.
No, I think they found signs of in his brain. I think it might have been. I could be wrong. Dementia, Alzheimer's, or something like that.
Something. They found something anyway.
Something like a neurological thing in his brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, when you look at these sort of figures, I mean, 65 million, Sisu, 6.5 million, you know, Extraction 2, 65 million. Now, some of these, I can't tell you the box office because some of these are on streaming platforms.
Yes.
But the point is, you know, just looking at the budgets, you know, like, and then you go down and you look at like Ant-Man 3, 200 million, Shazam 2, 125 million, Avengers Endgame, 356 to 400 million. But they don't mind with that because then they get 2.799 billion back. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the thing is, with Avengers, they can afford those sort of budgets because they're going off the back of many movies. It's a build-up.
Yeah,
but like,
but
individual hero films shouldn't be 300, 400 million. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
I mean, like for example, here, like Black Widow, 200 million. It's funny how they're always 200 million. I swear Disney fudges the numbers there somewhere. You can't tell me that every one of these new flops is 200 million. I bet they're not. But that was 200 million, and apparently that made 379.75 million. So it didn't even break even.
In fairness to Black Widow, though, it came out during the pandemic. It was also put out on Disney Plus at the same time.
And it wasn't a bad film. It wasn't that bad. I quite enjoyed it.
I honestly, I didn't mind it. The only thing that annoyed me, and I thought they ruined the character, was Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know why? Because you can tell it's a man.
Character.
You could tell it's a man.
Yeah, it was a man.
Yeah,
I know it's stupid, but I felt that they ruined that, and the fact that they actually bring that character back for Thunderbolts is crazy to me. Like I thought if you're gonna bring him back, bring the character back correctly. Don't bring that.
What was worse, Jamie Winston doing a weird accent? Jamie, sorry, Ray Winston doing a Russian accent.
Yeah, he does that all the time, though, doesn't he? But I mean, the thing that bugs me, like, I don't know what it is. Disney seems to have this trend of doing a solo movie on a character after you've killed them off. Like, I mean, you know, for example, they killed Han Solo, they did a solo movie. They killed Black Widow, they did a Black Widow movie. Like,
I personally don't think that. I don't necessarily think that's connected. I think that's just coincidental. But at the same time, But at the same time, I like it. While it is odd because it just means that you stop caring about a character. once you know
Exactly.
they're
That's my
dead.
point. No one's going to watch it. Like,
It's a strange
But
thing.
I- but I- but 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 that for me wasn't a turn. Like that wasn't the like that would not be a reason for me to not watch the film. Like that's just a niggle more for me more than anything. Like
yeah,
because
yeah.
I do like the Black Widow as a character, and I was
I do,
interested
I
in
do.
her backstory. So I'm not that bothered about that per se. Like it is what it is. But like
one
I
of
just-
the things that got up my nose
It
with
was-
that film is
it was
the
poorly
female,
timed.
the female bad guy. How they tried to like, oh, you need to understand that she did, and it's like, no, I don't need to understand it. She's an evil bitch. What she did. Why do I need to sympathise with that character? But that film tries desperately to make
Well,
you
they-
sympathise with her. She's
But
a horrible
ruined,
character.
but they ruined Taskmaster.
Oh no, not her, not
who you referred to?
Taskmaster. The you know the one that's basically their mum. Like her character
Oh
is the
yeah,
worst.
yeah.
But for some reason, the film wants you to pay attention to Ray Winston, that he's the big bad, when the woman's done way worse things in the film than he's done.
I got to be honest. I've forgotten most of the plot from that film, so I can't really remember it.
The best thing in that film was David Harbour being the
yeah,
Red Guardian. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Yeah,
great.
he
He was great in that. I thought.
Do we think John Krasinski will keep the Reed Richards role?
Hopefully not.
Who knows? I liked him in the role. What? You're nuts, bro. I loved him in the role, man. I was actually when they were talking about Adam Driver maybe probably playing Reed Richards, I was like, no, bring John Krasinski back. But okay, I'm interested. Okay.
I didn't think it was terrible. I just think I think it was an.
Wait, are you no? Are you you're just going off his cameo in Doctor Strange? Like that's not fair. They did a disservice for him in that film, but he would have been great in the role if they gave him more to do. I don't blame him for
I
that.
I hope so. I mean, obviously he was Captain America before he changed his mind, and then obviously got.
No,
Chris
he
Evans.
wasn't Captain America. He was up for the role, but he wasn't given the role.
Well, he would have had it from what everyone was saying, but then he changed his mind supposedly. I don't know how true that is, but Chris Evans obviously, is to me is
Chris Evans. God.
Human Torch, Johnny Storm, which I think he plays perfect. Johnny Storm.
He's also a massive bellend, though. Like that guy needs to shut up. Like when they did Lightyear and no one liked it, man, that guy did not stop running his mouth. He did himself no favors.
I don't know, innit?
Everyone loved him for Captain America. He does Lightyear, no one liked it, and he just comes out and starts bashing everyone. Like he did himself no favors.
Well, look, I think most artists should shut the hell up online.
Yes, because they're not that smart to begin with.
But you got but I do understand. But I do understand that like if you put a lot of time and effort into something, obviously you're going to be sensitive. You're going to be sensitive about it.
Oh, of
people
course.
critique it. Like
But I
because
think-
you put hours and hours into it, and then people out there just shit on it. I understand their frustrations, but they should be professional and not go online and start running their mouth. Like
Well, at least if you do go online, just explain to everyone. I thought I'd done a really good job. Like just have a discussion about it.
But no one,
They
but
don't.
no
They
one,
just
no
go
one,
attacking.
but no one was critiquing Chris Evans per se. They were critiquing the film.
Yeah, exactly. They said that
I
they
think
didn't like the
think-
message.
I think he got probably a bit big for his boots. Done Endgame, blah blah blah, Captain America, and he thought whatever he does now is going to be a hit. I still think his best film is Scott Pilgrim when he plays the X. I thought it was awesome in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
I was watching a TV series that he's done recently where, oh man, I can't really say without giving the plot away, but
Is that the hotel one?
no, he's a district attorney. Oh God, what's it called? I was watching it with my missus. It's really good.
What's it called?
Well, I've been watching it on Plex, so I don't know. It might be Apple TV. Hang on, let me look it up while you're talking. I'll look it up. I'll find the name of it. It's good anyway.
I'll say this right. Like most of these Marvel actors have not really had great careers outside of the MCU. Not even Robert Downey Jr. Most of his films outside the MCU flopped.
Yeah,
well, like
it was good in US Marshals. He was pretty good in that.
Tom Cruise.
No,
rumors are true. Wanted to be Iron Man and said he'd do it for free. Whether that's true,
yeah, no.
I don't know.
No,
Right.
I heard that too, but he couldn't do it due to scheduling. That's what it was because of the
But that would
pandemic.
have been
It was all done
interesting.
during the pandemic. Yeah.
Right, I've got the name of that show. It's called Defending Jacob.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
it actually come out a while ago. It's not new, actually. It came out in 2020.
OSG's got it as well. Defending Jacob, it was called. Defending his
Yeah.
son.
It's good. It's really good. Like, I'm
Right,
not going to give it away, but if you get a chance, I'm just trying to find
Oh,
out what.
yeah, but
platform
it's not that but the thing is, it's not that they haven't made good stuff. Like because Robert Downey Jr., for example, he made a really good film called The Judge, which
Yeah.
came out like I think it was post Iron Man, whatever. It's a really good film. I've seen it. It's a great film.
Kiss Kiss
And,
Bang Bang was good as well.
Apple TV.
Yeah,
it's on.
but I'm talking about I'm talking about the timing of when these films came out. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang came out before he even made Iron Man.
Just
Like,
before Iron Man,
What-
yeah.
But I'm talking about like post MCU, and
right.
The Judge was a really good movie, but no one went to see it. No one went to see it. It was a really good
When-
drama.
When
Really
did
good
Tropic
courtroom
Thunder
drama.
come out?
Oh, that's a
Tropic
long
Thunder.
time ago.
I wonder when that was coming up. I knew that was
Tropic
coming.
Thunder.
No, that came out like in the early 2000s. Like I think it was about 2007 or 2006.
Oh, was it before Iron Man then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. You
That
couldn't
film
do
was
that
wicked.
now.
That
You
film
couldn't
was
do that
wicked.
now. Could you imagine if you tried to release that film now?
That film could never come out, and then like
Listen,
there's
that
no
film
way.
was- That
Exactly.
film was way too much,
People,
man.
people are trying to shit on that film now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these sensitive like people are trying to hate on that film now. But I'm so happy, yeah, because they're trying to say like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. was doing blackface. But what's been really, really cool and reassuring is that a lot of black people are going online and saying, no, he's playing a
Yeah.
white guy, playing a black guy, and
That's it.
being an arse about it. He's not
That's
playing
it.
black. He's not playing a black character. He's playing a white character that's playing a black character, and it doesn't offend them.
Can I just point out though, we've seen recent cases these days where it's actually the other way around. Like that Netflix series, Cleopatra. Like the Egyptians are going mental over that at the moment, aren't they?
Listen. That documentary series is such a waste of space. I'm not even going to dedicate any time to it.
Of course.
Like,
Doesn't matter.
like-
Listen, it doesn't matter what anyone says. No one can say anything because Lenny Henry in True Identity played a white guy.
ah,
Right? You remember
love that
one?
movie.
Remember
I
that one?
love that movie.
Yeah.
That was
film
hilarious.
There's that one scene. He's all white and he's in the toilet and he's looking down. He's got his black cock in it.
What about white chicks? You had white chicks as well.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you?
Listen,
Wow.
listen. These films will not be made today. They
No.
cannot be made today.
Well, I don't know. They probably could get away. I think they could get away with white chicks and things like that. I think if
Maybe.
you tried to do things like Tropic Thunder, then you'd have a problem. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but even Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder is hilarious in that film. Even for
Coming
small part.
to America, what a film! I love that film. That bit when he's singing, like someone to care, like that, and everyone's like, "Shut up!" Like, I love
Yeah.
that scene. That's so.
But no,
funny.
but I got to say that very quickly. I don't want to derail our conversation here. But like when Eddie Murphy played the old Jewish guy in Coming to America,
Yes.
I legit didn't know that was him until the end of the credits.
Yeah.
That had
yeah,
me completely fooled.
yeah.
that was
He does
sick.
a great job.
And he
does a
played it
great job.
again in the new film. He played the same
Yeah,
role
he
again.
did.
didn't he?
Yeah, but
He
that film
played
was
the
awful
role.
though. That film was
That
terrible.
was listen. That was awful. But I had to watch it because it's bloody
Of course, yeah, I had to
Yeah.
watch it as well. Yeah.
Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy in it. Come on,
Yeah, the new one wasn't great, was it?
it was
Yeah.
fun.
It was
some
great.
funny scenes.
It was great. It was great seeing the characters again, but I just
Yes.
didn't like the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judge could still be the perfect Kratos.
Chris Judge. Who's Chris Judge?
Is he the guy that voices Kratos in the games?
He's the black guy. He was in.
Yeah,
He was in
Stargate.
Stargate.
Stargate SG-1.
Oh, you're on about Teal'c?
Yes,
Yeah.
The one who plays Teal'c. Yeah.
he does the voice.
He's a big guy too. Big guy.
Yeah, he was in
Do you know
Batman. He's in Batman. The Dark Knight Rises. He's in one scene, and he
I
actually
got-
does
I
the
got-
voice of Kratos.
Do you know
Yeah.
what?
Hilarious.
I got to be honest with you. I actually think what's his name now? Fucking hell. Aquaman.
Yeah, he was in Stargate Atlantis. He
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Jason Momoa.
Jason
Yeah.
Momoa.
I've actually seen him with like a long beard, and like, all you have to do is shave his head, and he would actually look. He's got the muscly physique for it as well.
Yeah, and
He
he's
would
tall.
actually look
and he's
like
tall.
Kratos. Yeah, and he's tall. Like I could
Yeah.
actually see him as Kratos. Whether he'll do or not is up to. But I think he would make a good Kratos personally. But
Mm.
Like if you when I remember when he first come around and started doing like Aquaman and things like that, it was hard to picture him the way he was because when I watched him originally on Stargate Atlantis, he's proper skinny in that. He's nowhere near the size he is, you know.
Do you-
yeah,
There's-
he bulked up a lot. Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think the first film I saw him properly in, muscly, there's Arnold Sly Stallone movie
yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah,
is Bullet to the Head
Bullet to the head. That's right.
with,
Yeah,
with Sang Kang, whatever his name is, and he's in that, and he hasn't got a beard, but he's still quite big. And I was like, fucking hell, this geezer looks decent. And then he done other films, and he's done what do you call it? That bloody dragon thing. I always forget the name now.
it's just that I think he's great because he's got a deep voice as well.
Yeah, I think he'd do
So
a
like
good job.
yeah, I think he'd do a good job. Because I can't really think because there's very few people. I mean, I know a lot of people. They're thinking wrestlers. They're thinking like Triple H or like
Triple
there
H
is
had
some-
his shot.
There is a few good
Yeah.
wrestlers who could do it, but it's the acting and it's the voice.
No, this is the thing. It's a combination of. It's not just about looks. They're trying to find a balance between
It's
looks,
the same
acting.
as Gears of War. They still haven't done that, and that'd be such a good movie
Yeah.
if they did
Yeah.
that.
Batista.
Great character.
Batista had thrown his hat in the ring about
He
playing
did,
Kratos.
but
I
they
don't
didn't-
think he'd make a good.
Nah,
he's
he'd
not-
be
he's
good
not tall.
He'd be good for Gears of War because
Yeah.
he's the character in the game.
The problem you've got though, right, is that Batista, the reason why he said he didn't want to play Drax anymore was because he was having a hard time keeping his physique for the
So-
role.
Yeah, because he's
'Cause
old.
get-
He's old.
He's
He
old,
is old,
right,
yeah.
isn't he?
I don't think you'd get him to do a role like that now. I don't think he's
No,
got
which
it in
is-
him now.
Which is fair enough. It's fair enough,
Yeah.
man. Like he can't, because he has to like obviously he's also probably on gear as well.
Oh, he's
And it's-
definitely,
100%.
definitely.
So like he can't keep it up, especially the older you get. You just can't keep it up.
Trust me,
Bit
like
risky.
I was a bodybuilder. You know, trust me, they're all on gear, all of them.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you would get like that.
Yeah,
You can't get like that naturally. It's impossible. They're all
Chris
on it.
Hemsworth.
He's
He
on
looked
it.
amazing he looked amazing in Love and Thunder, physique wise. He looked fucking sick. But
Can I
that's
just
it,
tell
he's
you,
on gear.
A lot of that CGI as well. Most of that isn't actually him. You know the bit
Oh,
when
really?
he gets
really?
stripped off. When he gets stripped off, that's
Yeah.
all CGI. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's
yeah.
a shame.
Because
Oh.
I remember like a lot of people were going on about the fact that because obviously you see an arse shot, don't you?
Yes.
Something that you never see on a woman these days. Can I just add in a film? But you get an arse shot, and it turns out that was CGI. That was so. Yeah,
Mm.
I mean,
it's-
that's not to take anything away from the guy. He's got a great physique. He has got a great
Yeah,
physique.
When's
But-
his Hulk
yeah.
Hogan film coming out? Or has that been canned now? He was making a film about Hulk Hogan, wasn't he?
I
He
think
was
that's
ready for
still
that.
happening because he was
Oh, is it?
he was bulking. He's bulking for that. He like that.
He got
That's
massive.
the,
Well, he'll
Yeah,
need to.
he- yeah, he's bulking for that.
He'll need to because I mean, like,
I'm kind of amazed they're even making a Hulk Hogan film because wasn't he like cancelled?
But I
Yes.
You know how
don't,
cancel culture is.
I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you, I don't really see the point of a movie. Really?
Well, the problem is that if they're going off what Hulk Hogan says, most of it will probably be lies anyway.
Well,
'Cause-
yeah, that's another thing.
He's I've got books of his, and there's so many inconsistencies. His stories
Yeah.
change all the time. Like you never know what you're getting, whether it's true or not from that guy.
Well, that's why they're movies and not documentaries. You know.
That's true. That is true. But it does
Yeah,
help
there's
if
not-
he's close to it. You know. I mean,
Yeah.
like, don't get me wrong. Like I was saying this on the stream the other day. The Tetris movie, right now, yeah, some of that is dramatized, but a good majority of that is fact, and that's a great movie.
Very
I
good
really
film.
enjoyed that film.
Good film.
Yeah, if you get a chance to watch that,
I've not seen it because I don't have. Is it Apple TV? It's on.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
superb.
don't know. I don't have Apple TV, so can't watch
Because
it.
it's I forget his name. I always forget his name. The guy that was in Kingsman,
Taron
played Eddie the
Egerton.
Eagle, Elton
Taron
John.
Egerton, yeah. Taron
Yeah,
Egerton,
he's the main role in it, and it's a really good film. And it's really funny because there's a bit where there's a chase, right? And they've kind of got the Tetris music, jazzed it up almost in a like Benny Hill sort of chase sort of style. That's how it comes across when you're watching it, and it's the Russians chasing his character in cars.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's really
cool.
funny. It's really good. Great film. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so I think we pretty much probably come to a good place to close it, don't you think, guys?
Conclusion? What's your conclusion, guys, about the future of superhero movies and Marvel and DC? What do you reckon?
I don't think they'll go away altogether. I do think they'll decrease quite a bit because Hollywood's in trouble and they need to be able to bring out films because they're bringing out so many disasters. They need to bring out cheap films, and the only way they're going to do that is with action movies. And if you're looking at people like Tom Cruise or anyone really at the moment that's doing action films, they're all doing pretty well and they're all cheap films. I mean, let's look at it, right? One of the films that was successful in recent times was a film about a bear that eats cocaine.
Yeah. Cocaine Bear, yeah.
You know, it was cheap as chips to make and it made money. Like,
Mm.
you know, it wasn't even a good story, but it was funny. Like, you know, so I do think,
it's one of those sort of like out there storylines, kind of like Snakes on a Plane. It reminds me of that. A really stupid concept. Although Snakes on a Plane was a bit of a failure, it didn't actually make its money.
No.
It got a lot of hype, but people didn't really support it. But it's a good thing that it's good that Cocaine Bear did well. I mean, I've not seen it, but then I'm very lazy when it comes to going to the cinema now.
It's quite funny.
I really need to motivate.
It's different.
It's a stupid film. It is funny. It is pretty good.
It's called Cocaine Bear. I mean, like,
yeah.
But it was actually based. It was actually based on something
It's a true
that really
story.
happened.
It's a true story.
But most of it is dramatized. I mean, the bear didn't go killing people in real life. It just died.
Well,
it did. It just died.
I just hope we get. I mean, there's a comment there about Daredevil. Daredevil's getting a new series, Born Again, which is coming out soon, with Charlie Cox, who I think is awesome as Daredevil.
Can I just say one? Now you brought it up, right? It was because I forgot to bring this up, right? So, in relation to Daredevil, so before we get Daredevil, we're going to get a show based on the character of Echo, right?
Yes, who was in the Hawkeye movie.
Hawkeye series, that's right.
TV series,
she was the deaf girl, the deaf Native American girl that had one leg, so she had like a fake leg, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
One thing that really frustrated me, right? They went and rushed out to make a show centered around her, and it had nothing to do with the fact that they thought she was a compelling character. They did it because they wanted to be the first to have a starring vehicle for a real life disabled girl who's deaf and has one leg. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
And they've come to the conclusion that what they've got in their hands is a turkey because by all accounts, they think the show is terrible, which is why Disney Plus is going to release it all in one go. So not a week by week, they're just going to dump it on Disney Plus.
That's right.
Because word on the street is the show is terrible. The show is really bad.
Yeah.
Well,
I find it frustrating that they didn't stop to think whether they even had a good story to tell. They just wanted to be the first people to have a starring vehicle for a real life disabled person.
Echo's only famous in the comics because in one universe she kills Kingpin, which we saw in essence in the Hawkeye TV.
Listen,
I've got a massive issue with that.
I'm not even against the character of Echo, but she's not earned it. She's not earned it. It's not been earned.
Like, and not only that, you're gonna bring back the best version of Kingpin into a series and have her kill him. Like,
he's not dead though. He's not dead though.
I hope not.
No, he's not. He's not dead. I 100% guarantee you, he's not dead. Hold on a second. Not to spoil it for anyone, but she didn't even kill him in the comics.
Well, you're giving the impression that she does, but they did the same, very similar scene in the TV show, and you're left to think because obviously at that time Charlie Cox never agreed to be part of anything for Daredevil, hence why they probably did what they did, which made no sense anyway. They seem to rush in, like you just said there, Rob. They strong-handed rush stuff, and now it's bit him in the arse.
The thing is, the other reason why they're dropping all this stuff on Disney Plus all in one go like they do is because then when it cans, what they do is they do it as a tax write-off. They've done it with
Mm.
Willow. They fucked Willow.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
but
watched it.
but also a big reason why they're going to drop Echo all in one is so they don't have to deal with the week to week people shitting on the show every week
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they got such bad press for shows like She-Hulk, Willow, which can I just say, right? It breaks my heart because I love that Willow film.
I watched it and it was terrible.
I like Willow
I
the
watched
film.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I watched that show, and it really broke my heart. How effed up it was. Like it really hurt me.
Did you notice how bad? Like, and I like Warwick Davis. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing the guy. I love Warwick Davis. But my God, how bad was his acting? It's like he didn't even want to be in that series. He
Listen,
knew it was crap. He knew it.
listen. I love Warwick Davis, but he's never been that great of an actor.
No.
You know?
No, but he's
never
been
really
better
been
than in that series. Like he's been
Oh
way
yeah.
better than
I
that.
mean, listen.
He
They
sounded like
decided
he's reading.
they decided to make it a vehicle for teenagers and young adults, and they kind of sidelined Willow a little bit. And you know, it's not. There were aspects of it I liked, but it was none of the characters. Like
There's one thing I just want to add about Lucasfilm, right? I really wonder where they're going to go because they've killed Star Wars, they've killed Willow, they've now killed Indiana Jones. Like, what are they going to do now? Like, really?
Conversation for another stream.
Yeah, absolutely. But if Kathleen Kennedy keeps her job at this point, she must know where the bodies are buried. That's all I'm going to say. Because that woman should have been fired by now.
But do you know what? It makes, but again, it also breaks my heart because Kathleen Kennedy, right? She's been involved with all the classics as well. She was there. She was there when they made Raiders of the Lost Ark. She was there when they made a lot of the films. No, but the point I'm saying is, you think someone who'd been around since the Golden Age
should know.
You think some of that would have rubbed off on her?
Have you not heard the interview that Steven Spielberg done where he was honest about it? He said, well, she was meant to be there taking notes and she used to just come up with rubbish suggestions that were terrible.
No, I've not seen that.
Yeah.
No, I've not seen that.
Basically, he used for an example. He said she'd be there. She was a terrible note taker. He said, we'd be there like, oh, what if he then saves her? And she would then stop us and go, oh, yeah, but no, what if he saved the dog? And then, Stephen would be like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So she had terrible ideas even back then. So I think the problem you got is she's hung on to successful people and it's got her to this point. And now because she's on her own and she's, allowed to run roughshod, she just does what she likes. And it is pretty much everything that's coming out is all like what she wants, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, look, I mean, look, it's up. It's the industry, the way movies work. It's not just one person. It is a variety of people. But like one thing that is very clear is that she doesn't get along with creatives. I mean, how many directors have come and gone during her reign?
Well, how many shows have been cancelled as well? I mean, shows, movies, they get announced, they cancel. Yeah,
the solo film they had to change directors. It went from was it Lord and Miller, and then they had to get Ron Howard, which, by the way, in my opinion, is probably a better choice. But
Ron Howard.
But there was also a swap when they made Rogue One.
Yeah,
movie. And Colin Trevorrow was supposed to direct Revenge of Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Did you actually hear what his plot, like his story was? Have you heard what the story was going to be?
I heard something. I did hear something. Yeah.
So they were meant to have a laser guillotine on what bloody planet were they on? I'm blanking, but they were meant to be on.
Well, look,
they were meant to be using a laser guillotine and killing the resistance fighters in it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go. I don't want to go into Star Wars because then we'll be here for another 2 hours.
Of course, yeah.
But I'll say, look, going back to what we were saying before, like in conclusion, like I just feel that writing and, like you said, Nerdy Geezer, budget. They need to rein in their budgets.
Yeah.
They need to really think about the writing. So basically, don't stretch themselves too thin. Really think about their projects. because like with Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, I thought the film was meh, but Ant-Man really had no business being in a it should have been set on Earth, like in the real world, not in some quantum realm or whatever.
Stupid.
It just did
I
not fit.
heard
It
he
did not
becomes a
fit.
guest in his own movie. That's what I heard. He basically becomes a guest in his own film.
No, he's very much he's the one who gets shafted in the film is Wasp. She has nothing to do in the film.
Yeah,
Oh,
Really?
it's such a strange film.
Listen, why was she even in the film? Because she gets nothing to do. Like,
Such a strange
absolutely.
film.
The film is called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, right?
Yeah.
Ant-Man gets a lot to do. She is sidelined through most of the film, has barely anything to do, and she basically comes in mostly towards the end. That's it. She's barely in it. Like,
Sorry, mate. Go on.
I was going. The only really good thing I liked about it, I liked Jonathan Majors as Kang. I liked him as Kang.
Yeah, he's good.
There's
Go on.
There's two things I just want to say on that film, right? Martin pointed out something to me on a stream I did with him. Number one was, have you noticed that all the bad guys are purple now? He's got a good point, because they are, right?
Thanos, Apocalypse, or Blue.
Exactly, yeah. And then on top of that, MODOK, what the hell?
Oh, mate, don't.
They messed up MODOK. They messed him up.
Oh God, man!
They messed up MODOK. I was not happy with MODOK. Like, he should not have been introduced in that film at all. Like, MODOK is. I know he looks like a silly character, but he's actually could be quite a scary character if he's done.
He's quite a threatening character, yeah, of course, yeah.
But I just feel that I definitely agree with you, Lee, on the sense that I think budgets are getting too crazy. I think they need to rein it in. You know, and while it saddens me to say this, because as a Marvel fan, as a superhero movie fan, of course I want like loads of films being put out yearly and loads of TV shows. Of course, who doesn't want to see all these characters coming out? But it just seems to me that they can't do it. They don't have the resources to do things justice. So even if we go back to like 1 or 2 films a year, if it means we get 2 really good quality movies a year, as opposed to 3 average to substandard ones, I'm down for that.
Problem you've got is that right now we already had a writer, I believe, producer and director strike, but now we've got actors striking. And they reckon, they're saying they reckon this could go on till Christmas. We might not get films for quite some time.
I know. That's all right. That's okay. I've got a backlog of stuff to watch.
That's fine for us. But if you're Hollywood, that's a real problem.
Yeah, no, it's crippling.
That's like going through COVID all over again. Like,
well, we're not feeling it now, but next year we will.
Yeah, next year there'll be nothing. Yeah, absolutely. And I think not only are we seeing a trend with action movies coming back, but I think because of this recent thing that's going on, I think they're going to be forced that they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to cut back budgets because they just won't have the money.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Disney's sacking people left, right, and centre at the moment. It's only going to get worse than that. So yeah, it's coming.
What about you, Chef? What do you reckon going forward? What do you reckon should things need to happen?
I just want them to go back to basics. Just forget, like with the Ant-Man movies, they had a good storyline where, they were making everything get smaller and bigger, and it was good fun to see things get blown up to big and small and whatever else. I think they need to go back to basics. Hopefully, Daredevil will do that. I'm looking forward to Loki season 2. I enjoyed the first season. I thought it was very good. Action movies, say Expendables 4. I only watch it because it's going to have loads of old actors in it. I'm quite enjoying Fubar. Is it Fubar? The Arnold Schwarzenegger new one. That's not too bad. It's all right.
Tulsa King's what you want to watch. That's great.
Oh, yeah?
Have you watched Tulsa King?
Not yet.
Oh, man, you ain't watched Tulsa King. You got to watch that.
What's it on?
It's on Apple
Amazon
TV,
Prime.
Isn't it? No, it's not on Amazon Prime. It's Apple TV. Or Paramount.
I don't know. I watch it on Plex, so I watch it for free. I
think it's on. Yeah, I think
So,
yeah.
it's good though. It's really good.
I got to watch that. I got some new I got Jujutsu Kaisen second series. This thing that's an anime. I got a few other things coming out soon. I need to catch up with. There's loads of stuff to catch up with.
I'm currently binging on Better Call Saul. Just went through Breaking Bad.
Oh, nice.
I watched this. I watched the spin-off film with one of the characters, and I'm just going through Better Call Saul. Love that show.
I'm binging Stargate at the moment. That's what I'm binging. Yeah, I've gone all the way through. I'm on the last season now. Every now and again, I'll just go through the lot.
I think I binged that like years ago. Like I watched like all 10 seasons of SG1.
Yeah, my favorite episode is you remember the one where the time.
No, I don't remember nothing. It was years ago, Lee. It was years ago. Like I know I watched it, but it was a long time ago.
There's one episode where a day gets repeated over and over, right? And they suddenly realise halfway through the episode, somebody says to him, "So if you're going through the same day over and over again, you can kind of just do what you want, right? Because it resets the next day." And suddenly they're like, "Yeah." And it's only O'Neill and Tick that's going through this, right? So they start playing golf through the Stargate. Then you've got O'Neill doing pottery in the control room. Then he goes up out of uniform and resigns so that he can kiss Sam Carter. Tick keeps getting hit in the face by a door by some soldier. And eventually he pushes the door and knocks the guy over, And it's just all goofy stuff. It's my favourite episode of Stargate. It's very funny. Really
There's quite a few shows that have done that time loop thing. Supernatural did it. It was a funny episode.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone knows Groundhog Day. That's
of course, yeah. And it is kind of like that, where he goes a bit mad and they just start doing dumb shit. It's just like that, Yeah, really good.
But I think there's a lot of stuff still to watch. But like, I really hope that I really want James Gunn's new DC reboot to succeed.
Yeah.
But like, I got to be honest. They've been announcing a lot of other superheroes that are going to show up in the new Superman film. It has me a little bit concerned. But I trust James Gunn because he's a good writer. I think his writing will save it. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. I'm a little bit worried about Daredevil. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried. I'm worried because I don't know. That's probably the one show. If it doesn't turn out to be good, it's probably going to hurt me. Because
love Daredevil.
I'm excited for Deadpool 3. I'm liking what I'm hearing of that film. Hopefully when the actor strike finishes, they can get back to filming it because I'm excited to watch it. From what I've seen, like the Hugh Jackman's Wolverine costume looks great. I'm liking it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I'm excited, and I've heard that all the original actors are coming back, so I'm excited.
Me too.
I think basically, for me in perspective, is that I really hope that we can limit politics from films and TV shows.
Agreed.
I hope that we can just focus on good storytelling, good characters, and I'm not against diversity or females or I really want. I love media to reflect our society, but at the same time,
it's a getaway.
But I don't want other people to be put down. Like I don't feel that males or white men should be put down in order to prep up the minority or the female. Like that doesn't need to happen. You can create great characters, and they will shine. They will shine regardless. If they're great characters, they will shine. You don't need to belittle anyone else in order to make them look good. It's not necessary, and I really wish that these Hollywood writers would learn that. I really do. I'm totally agree. I'm trying to remain optimistic. I'm hoping that if the writers' strike, the actors' strike, that these are things that will maybe get these studios to rethink a lot of things. There has been talk about how I think Bob Iger said something about that they may actually start scaling it all down. So hopefully that creates a better product. But
hopefully,
I'm going to remain optimistic. I love my superhero films. I want to see more of them in the future. But like both the Lees, I also want to see action films. I want to see some good old school action movies. and I want to see them on the big screen as well. I don't want to see them all relegated to streaming
Yeah, that's
services.
true.
I think they deserve shine, and I think that because I loved the Extraction films, really enjoyed them, and I hope that we just see more action films in general. And it's a shame because I know that people like Scott Adkins, you know, like he's been stuck in direct to DVD hell,
Yeah.
and I think he deserves a lot better. He really was just born in the wrong era,
Yeah.
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 You
I'd
know,
agree with that.
and like, yeah, I want to see more of a bring back more action films. If we have to scale back on superhero, do it, but please focus on writing better characters and story. That's what I want. So I'm okay. I'm remaining optimistic, but hopefully we'll enter a new era.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Right, I'm going to have to wrap it up here because I know that Lee has got to be up early in the morning, super early, and I can see him like private messaging going, "I've got to go, Lee. I've got to go." So yeah. Right now, the question is: do we go with the stupid Marvel thing again, or do you just put the nerdy geezer outro on? Or hang on, we've got to do one thing before we do any of that.
Hey, Glimbo! Oink oink! Too many Twinkies!
I love that clip. Did you know that was Pee Wee Herman that voiced him? Did you know that? Yeah. But anyway, that aside, should we go with? Let's go with the Marvel thing. Let's be honest. I'm probably not going to get a chance to use it again, so let's do it.
Ma, 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 ma.